Hello everybody, welcome back to Late Night Events number 203, I believe. I am here with Michaela, also known as Gamer Girl Law. Michaela, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic. I am so excited to be back casting.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, one of those two. We are going to, I believe I have a quick echo, I apologize, let me fix that. That is all set. We are looking at a couple of weird decks tonight on the Late Night 203 EU. Looks like for our top 8, we have a Snorlax Stall, a couple other weird decks such as Noivern EX, Cornerstone, Mask Ogerpon, things of the sort. Michaela, did you see anything that was really interesting at that time while I looked for games for us to look at?
Do your thing, man. The other deck list that's in there, there's a third one. It's I'm going to call it Bouffalant box. It is the Lost Origins Bouffalant that for 3 colorless energy sends a energy card to the Lost Zone. The rest of that deck list consists of some Mimikyu, the one that blocks attacks from EXs, and Mawile, the one that traps something in the active. So it looks like the structure for this deck is to pull something in the active, shear away that energy, and then your opponent can't play the game. I've never seen that before, and I'm browsing Twitter all the time for these deck lists, so this is a true, honest cook.
Well, it's
also in our top 8 today. Oh,
no, go ahead. I apologize.
Yes, I see. Also in our top 8 today are a Dragapult list. We haven't seen a ton of those do well. Ancient Box, and a smattering of Charizards. Charizard has had higher metagame play today than average. I wonder if it's people preparing for the Stellar Crown meta?
Honestly, I think when it comes down to it, I believe that a lot of people are just riding that hype. They want to get the reps in, even if Dragapult's not that great. So, either way, I think Dragapult is probably a decent enough play. It's just not as good as everything else that runs Dragapult. So. And speaking of decks that run Dragapult, a game that I can pull up for us right now looks to be a Regidrago. Our Regidrago player, Gyarados 1349, is playing what looks to be a very stock Regidrago V-Star list. So give us 2 minutes and we will bring that game right up here.
All right, let's slide in. Stock Regidrago.
Hello everybody and welcome back. We are live with the Regidrago versus Michaela. What did you say they were up against? It looks like they're up against Charizard?
This is Charizard Pidgeot, a classic that has come back in recent eras, and I believe is starting to see increased play as people prepare for the Stellar Crown format.
Honestly, I'm very interested to see how Regidrago goes into Charizard. Regidrago seeming to do really well against it in Worlds. I'm curious if our player here, our observed player, Gyarados 1349, will be able to keep up that streak of being able to, push right through the Charizard matchup.
Well, let's see what their record's been so far today. What has this Regidrago been up against? It looks like they have played A good mix, Dragapult, Charizard, Regidrago, Ancient Box, and Iron Thorns list, and one of our other quote-unquote decks for the day, a Bouffalant box from Lori127. So a good mix of matchups has happened for this Regidrago player, and for our Charizard player, a similar story. They faced a Golden Go, but for the most part, a lot of recognizable meta plays.
You know, it's crazy that we didn't see anything really absurd come out, at least against this Regidrago matchup, which seems to be one of the decks that's gatekeeperish in the format. It really stops other weird things from coming out. I'm interested to see, you know, what if they progress past this point, what they end up, you know, how they end up playing against these more weird decks like that Arceus list we were seeing earlier that we were talking about pre-show.
Oh my goodness, I looked at it and I needed to restart my brain. It's Quad Arceus with 2/2 Regieleki VMAX line, no other Vs or EXs that are electric type, and some classic tools like Fezandipity, Radiant Charizard, Blood Moon or Saluna. It just did not make sense. I hope we get to see them on stream.
Honestly,
but speaking of on stream,
yeah, let's talk more about the game at hand. As
exactly.
I fix things live to make sure that we get the best view possible. Apologies in advance.
Thank you for your service, Void.
Look, you know what? I do my best.
Love you.
Oh.
Now, I've got chat open in another window as well, so if you are in chat, feel free to sound off and we will chit-chat. But in the meantime, I will take a good look at this board state, where it seems our Charizard player is gearing up for a Ultra Ball play, likely to a Charizard EX, and that will allow them to evolve and start attacking. If they don't use the Dusclops, they won't be able to take a prize, but with the Dusclops in hand, we could see a turn 1 210 damage attack, which with a Defiance Band would knock that up to enough damage to KO this Regidrago at 220 HP. So let's see if we're gonna get all the tools necessary for that. Luminion's being triggered for the V-Star Stone.
So as they search
for
the V-Star, I want to ask you, Michaela, are you the type of person that's like me that, you know, has played long enough in the older games where you add a Defiance Band and you completely forget that you have to be behind on cards to be able to, you know, get that extra damage? You're just expecting it to be a choice band?
The solution that I've come up with for that problem is to just not play the Defiance Band.
Yep, I'm in the same
boat.
But
at the same time, yeah, it is a card that is so easy to forget the trigger condition for, because if you've been playing in Choice Belt or Choice Band or Muscle Band, you're just muscle memory used to it adding additional damage for free. See the big Charizard, Infernal Rain.
And speaking of things that are free, like, you know, Infernal Rain coming down to get that energy straight out of the deck, one of the reasons why Charizard, besides its awesome attack, its huge HP pool, honestly, being able to get that energy out for free and basically have anything almost ready to go is one of the reasons why Charizard is a staple in this format. And look at that, the Charizard EX being brought up with the Rotom retreating, and let's see that Curse Blast coming out from the Dusclops.
Dusclops will do it. That is probably going to take the game not all the way in favor, but I would say the Charizard player is in a very commanding lead with this setup.
So are you a fan with the Charizard Dusclops, or are you more of a fan of, like, you know, I almost want to call it the natural, you know, Charizard Pidgeot combo?
Oh, I'm all about the Clops. I'm all about the Dusknoir. If you ever played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you understand what I'm talking about. But even if you didn't, the ability to take a free prize card in a turn without attacking, there's nothing else like it. It's like introducing an instant speed card to the game of Pokemon. It's a whole different mindset than almost any other card that exists. It's fantastic. I love using it.
Honestly, you know, I was very reluctant at being able to play it because, you know, knowing me, I get very greedy. I try to use it more than once, and I'm like, oh no, that's the equivalent of giving an EX knockout, and I'm just like, wait, I just lose all the time because of it. But
I don't want to miss this play that we just saw.
Go ahead.
Did you see that? The choice there was where to attach the grass energy for turn.
Mm-hmm.
There was a energy switch in hand, so it could have been moved around after it was placed, but the choice was to attach it not with Teal Dance to the Ogre Pond. So ideally the move here seems to be using that earthen vessel, grabbing another grass, and finding some way to get it on to that Ogerpon so it can attack and not quite knock out the Charizard with only 3 energy on it. I think it might be just shy, but that would be enough to go in range of Dragapult's attack. But that was a tricky play because you had to choose between that and putting it on the Regidrago and hoping for enough resources to attack with Regidrago this turn.
Right, and it looks like we have the other Teal Dance coming down. I believe that, absolute worst case scenario, taking advantage of the Regidrago V-Star power, getting something back from your discard could get us the energy switch back to get that, Teal Dance knockout with the Teal Mask Ogerpon using its attack. Man, I'm forgetting it right off the top of my head here.
Myriad Leaf Shower.
Yep, Myriad Leaf Shower, dealing damage based on the number of energy attached to it, and I believe your opponent's Pokemon as well. And also, Charizard having that weakness to Grass. But it looks like here we get that Regidrago V-Star coming off the Ultra Ball. Let's see if that V-Star power will be coming out of this for that energy.
I think it has to unlock enough plays to attack this turn. Because you can't draw with me right now. But what's the attack? Like, do you want to use the Ogerpon to attack, or do you want to use the Regidrago?
Honestly, either way, whatever you need to get the knockout on that Charizard will probably put you in such a fantastic spot because there is no second Charizard set up right now. So, I'm not quite sure what our Charizard player will do in that matchup or in that situation.
With the double E-switch, that could enable an attack from either Ogerpon or... Oh, okay, it looks like we're going for the Ogerpon attack. So, pulling 2 E-switch means this will be an attack. Next turn, they'll be able to E-switch from the benched Ogerpon. That should give a... Oh, actually, never mind, I was wrong. 5 energy between the two is definitely enough for Myriad Leaf Shower to take the knockout with weakness. I thought it needed to be 6, but I wasn't counting that you get the plus 30 automatically for using the attack.
Right.
You use your brain for this.
That's okay. Honestly, I forget it all the time. My brain, that is. So don't worry too much about it.
And that just put Charizard on the back foot because now there are no attackers. And Radiant Charizard, even if you get it out, it's still a little too expensive to use with 3 prizes remaining.
Honestly, I think this might be... I don't want to call it game for the Charizard player. The Charizard player can always come back, right? But looking at our Regidrago player's hand right here, I don't think they're going to be stumbling much longer.
No, I think a good Iono could make a difference here. But that's so many pieces for your combo you have to set up, and you're only going to get 4 off of the Iono. Luckily, Pheasantipede is around to, quote-unquote, flip the script. That should help.
Honestly, anything that gets them back into the game, I do see that we're getting that Dusk Skull coming out right away, and that flip the script to draw a couple cards, keeping it in the game, or keeping them in the game. Honestly.
Good sequencing choice there with the Buddy Puffin first as well.
Yeah, anything that reduces the cards in your deck that you do not want to draw is honestly the way you want to go. You always want to search for your things that, search for your guarantees and then draw afterwards so that you can make sure that you do not draw anything extra.
Some of our viewers at home might be wondering, why would you go for Duskull there instead of a second Charmander? And in addition to the fact that there may only be 3 in the list, if you have that Duskull out, you can continue to increase your damage count, and that should be enough to get you a 1-hit KO on the Regidrago, which, considering the boss choice here, I think they're banking on the fact that there just won't be enough energy to attack with Regidrago.
And we see the emote coming out of our Regidrago player. I understand, but, it's one of those things that I tell people all the time. You have to play to your outs, right? So, like, the Charizard player has to sit there and go, look, I don't know if you're going to have something to retreat. I don't know if you have energy to work with. Bossing up something that, may not be able to attack, may not be able to retreat, just make them have it, right? That's a lot of times you win this game by your opponent not having something.
The late game instant charge, you never want to do that as the Charizard player, but it's the best choice you have right now with that deck.
And unfortunately, look at the lineup here. The grass energy coming down, the energy switch coming out. Is there a Dragapult or something else in there? There's a Dragapult.
Oh, it's getting, yep. I think we're going to go to a game 2 very shortly after this. Yep. Because that Duskull has 60 HP. That's rough. That's so rough.
Again, you always have to make sure that your opponent has it, right? There's never a good answer to this. But, that's very well played from the Regidrago player's side. Using that V-Star whenever you need to.
Ooh, look at those prizes. That's rough. Prizing Kyurem and Giratina is not ideal for this. You know what you could have done? Actually,
Well,
they're in the middle of the game. I'm not gonna backseat play.
No, no,
But
it's okay.
I think there was a. Well, if they're not listening, promise. Okay, they didn't say anything. I think we're good.
Okay, cool.
They could have bossed the Squawkabilly.
Mhm.
Because you needed to attach an energy to retreat it, and you needed to attach an energy manually, so that you didn't need actually the third energy switch out of your deck list. So if you had bossed the Squawkabilly instead of bossing the Regidrago, I think that might have extended the runway a turn.
Right. Well, because
Assuming they didn't pull a switch on Iron Leaves.
right, and honestly, a lot of these decks are only probably running about one switch, maybe two if you're worried about getting into a situation. Let's take a look at Gyarados 1349's list. That switch was already drawn earlier, I believe, and was in the discard. I don't remember. We would have to check the VOD, but
Yeah.
looking at that list, it might have been the correct play, but when you're in that moment and you're kind of stuck and you're not sure what else to do, sometimes you just gotta boss up and hope for the best. So are you a Regidrago V-Star enjoyer?
Oh, you believe it. You better believe it, and you will believe it at the top tables of Baltimore Regionals.
Hey, I thought we talked behind the scenes saying we were not doing any meta manipulation here on this stream.
Look. Just keeping it real for a moment. Regidrago is the hottest deck that's come out in at least 2 years.
Oh, definitely.
That's all I'm saying. My manipulation has nothing to do with it. If I've made it hotter, good for her. But she was already pretty.
How do you feel about the Cleffa being in the list for Regidrago?
Quite honestly, bad. I'm a Cleffa hater.
I am also a Cleffa hater. I feel like, in your opening turn, you're going to be doing... Well, I mean, you have so much going on. I don't know. Maybe it gets you out of an awkward spot.
The uses of Cleffa are definitely real. If you have a game where you have nothing but a Nest Ball, it's too early game to grab a Pheasantipity, and it's just a little too late game to grab a Squawkabilly, Cleffa is your best option. The free retreat pivot is so fantastic as well. I mean, never underestimate a free retreat card.
Right.
The problem with Cleffa is that there's just too many attackers that can, or even just abilities that put 30 damage on your side of the field, that it's a liability to have available. The minute you sit down that Cleffa, you need to hope that you know every card in that 60 card deck list, otherwise you're gonna get sniped out of nowhere. And there's a prize card gone. So, it's expensive, and it's an attack, which means you're not doing anything else. Like, if you needed to attack in a turn, you could be using the first attack on Regidrago V that can discard 3 and maybe attach an energy. Or you could use Squawkabilly's Motivate to pull energy from discard. Or you could use even Curem versus Lost Zone decks. But if you're attacking with Cleffa and you're drawing 7 cards, as good as that is, and as important as it is for saving some really bad situations, I think it just is more of a card that's so easy to misplay that it's not worth it. For me personally, I think other people never have that problem, and they should be playing Cleffa. I'm just not that person.
Now, while we try to get this game 2 up and running, we're going to be right back as we try to grab another game while they're trying to figure this out, because I believe we have someone else currently playing right now as well. So, folks, we will be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are back with Ancient Box v Ancient Box, something that we might see a little bit more in Baltimore, as if I'm reading the room kind of right. And we are straight into the gameplay. It's pretty intense here. This looks to probably be game 2, if I had to guess, but it is not looking good for Callie's side right now.
No, Callie's bench is empty, and you never ever want that as a lost box or not lost box, as an Ancient Box player. Even the Night Stretcher is not going to save you, so a single attack at this late stage of the game could be enough to completely knock her out of contention. There's a Fluttermane at least off the prizes, so if just hang on one more turn, we'll be able to get a good game in.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, though, these games make for the best comebacks, having one Pokemon out and nothing else to go, right? Mm-hmm. But, you know, I wish we could see the logs right now, because I want to see what Callie's opponent has in the discard. I'm very interested to see if there's enough ancient Pokemon in there to really, like, trim things out, but...
We're seeing a lot of Pokegear. I would assume that means in the hand there's there it is, a discard card. So that's 2 more ancient down. There's the last darkness energy needed.
Right. This will be so sad to watch if we just tune in just to see, you know, Callie get immediately KO'd by just having only one Pokemon in play, especially without any context. Oof.
Could be worse. Oh, that's horrible. It was exact. Oh, no.
Look, these things happen, right? Like, sometimes we tune in to just see someone get KO'd on game 2. Let's hope we'll get a game 3?
Yeah.
Crossing our fingers?
There's no way to tell from my end. You may be able to see this.
Yeah, unfortunately, I am unable to see as well with how it's currently going. I am curious, though, when it comes down to it, right? How do you feel about have you played the Ancient Box v Ancient Box matchup?
Oh, yeah, this was the deck I brought to NAIC this year.
Oh my gosh.
Although there's in the chat, PKS Blaze is saying, so close to getting Lost Box into cut. That's absolutely radical.
I am a huge Sablezard enjoyer, so anything that I can do to, you know, just rock Sablezard left and right.
For the culture, you understand?
Yeah, of course, of course.
But no, I brought Ancient Box to NAIC this year in fabulous Louisiana. Loved it. And honestly, that deck has come so far since then. Like the Giga Brains that are working on Ancient Box are fighting for their lives with a huge limitation in that 16 of the cards in that deck cannot change. You're going to be playing 4 Roaring Moon, you're going to be playing 8 of the supporters, and you're probably going to be playing 4 of the Ancient Capsule. So the amount of flexibility you have to work with is less. And even still, Ancient Box players are always innovating, always coming up with some new small tweak or twist. It's very exciting.
Honestly, I'm very excited to see where the deck goes, especially after Baltimore and everything else coming up. Unfortunately, looking on my end, that looks like that was the last. There was no game 3. So we're going to try to jump down to that previous game that we were looking at before. Apologies for all the jumping back and forth, but we will be back with you guys as soon as possible.
All right, see you shortly.
Hello everybody, we are back. Apologies for the black screen as we fix everything as we are going live. It is back to Regidrago versus Charizard. Please bear with us as we fix our configurations to make things look just a tiny bit better.
He says bear with us. There's actually a bear in my room.
Oh, I was gonna say.
It is large and imposing. Please send help. The bear is Blood Moon Ursaluna.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know what? Congrats on the pulls. One of the better cards to pull in that set.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Myself.
We have Radiant Charizard at home. Roar.
And with that, it looks like, look, you know what? This start seems a little bit better for both players, right? You know, it doesn't look as good because there is no, what looks like to be no Pidgey set up on the Charizard player's side. But, you know, I'm a huge Entei believer, so I think that it should be okay. But that Regidrago V-Star is basically ready to go.
Yeah, if you're the Regidrago player and you've set down all 5 of the magic cards needed to start attacking, you are having a great day. But this is complicated. What are you gonna Prime Catcher for? What is happening?
You gotta get the Vezendipity, right? But like, what are you gonna retreat? Why would you?
What would you do if you can't retreat? Okay, maybe the expectation is Iona will grab a Grass Energy. Grass Energy goes in the Teal Dance. Teal Dance retreats. Done. Simple. It's simple science.
Look, I'm okay. I did not see that they still had a supporter left to play. This is like the big brain stuff, and there's the Earthen Vessel. I mean, look. Also, to be fair, their backup was to V-Star, right? V-Star grabbing back.
Oh, true.
Something, right?
True. Yeah.
Crossing our fingers here, but we do get that second Reggie V-Star, or Regidrago V. Words are hard. I swear, I do this every now and then.
You could do it. I believe in you.
Getting that second Regidrago V onto the bench, so that backup support is there, and the Regidrago V-Star is in hand. So, you know, if anything goes wrong for Gyarados 1349, it may not be that bad. There might be a way out just in case, and there's even an energy switch.
This is excellent work. I mean, this is masterful gambit.
My gosh.
And I believe I saw a Dragapult already in the discard. Excuse me? Although a Kyurem would not go astray here either.
Honestly, if you have the Kyurem here, your life might be, like, perfect. So, crossing our fingers, hoping that we see something there. Honestly, there might be a world where you want to be, like, super aggressive with the Kyurem. You know, maybe Ultra Ball for the Kyurem. Look, I'm throwing stuff at the wall here while we wait. Vezendipity looks like it's going down. Maybe?
No, there's no way. Because why would you? You're blocking up your last bench space.
Your hand is perfect.
Like, this is some Giga Brain thinking. Like, there's clearly a play that, like, we are too caster brained to understand here.
Oh, the Kyurem's in the discard.
Okay, so the thought must have been circling.
I mean, I guess, right? So I guess you have to get the Vezendipity out, right? But I guess the idea is like, hey, look, let's weaken up everything. Let's get ready to take multiple hits. There's no Pidgeot out, so let's hope that my opponent isn't as great big giga-brained as I am to get every card I ever needed ever off an Iono.
Do you think the Prime Catcher play could have been a little excessive? Or nah? Because, like, I don't think it is, but every time you use a Prime Catcher in Regidrago, you have to check yourself before you go a little too far, because it is so easy to overplay Regidrago.
Honestly, I think that it's perfectly fine as long as the V-Star is not used, right? Like, you know, we see a bunch of stuff that's able to recycle Prime Catcher being played, right? Like Darkrai seeing play now too to be able to grab that Prime Catcher back. But
Thornton,
oh my gosh, there's the Thornton!
It's happening! The script is getting flipped!
We need a soundbite of you just going, the script is flipped.
I mean, either that or me saying Pheasant Skibidi.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. There's just nothing holding me back.
Well, it looks like that look, you know what? There is one thing holding you back, and that's that Prime Catcher bringing up that Vezendipity earlier. There's the Defiance Band coming down. Look, you know what?
There it is. Gearing up.
Getting cards out of hand, getting that Radiant Charizard set up, because it looks like it probably won't get knocked out immediately by the damage counters coming off the Dragapult attack.
Correct. It's not enough to do a full KO with the Kyurem here. If the last 10 damage from the previous Phantom Dive had gone onto that Charizard, a Hawlucha play comboed with Kyurem would have board wiped and moved them to one prize remaining, only Vezendipity on board, and we all carry on and wait till they draw the rest of the cards they need. But even from a position like that, Regidrago's still at risk.
I'm just a little worried, right? Because that's kind of going all in, right?
Yeah.
You're saying, look,
that's
I'm
committing.
Expecting you to not be able to recover, and I will take the energy penalty myself. But I'm not sure why you're too confused on what's going on here, right? Like, as long as you knock out both Charmanders, you're probably fine. I don't
Oh,
think
that's true.
Like, there's no big Giga Brain move here.
Don't
I guess
hit
it's...
the Triforce button. Don't do it. They hit the Cura move.
They did the
But
thing.
there wasn't a Halucha.
No. Maybe they got it. Maybe they got it. Right? It's probably fine.
No, the Halucha works from the bench, so now it's gonna have to take an attack to knock that out. Wait, what?
No, there was 50 counters on it, so it was 160.
Oh, it was 50. I thought it was 40.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm fooling. Look at all them professor researches. What's your favorite professor's research art?
Oh my gosh.
I'm going for the deep cuts.
Okay. Hold on. I'm pulling up the professor's research art on the side. Okay, easy. It's the Professor Rowan one. I'm a Gen 4 lover. I'm a Sinnoh enjoyer.
Professor Rowan?
Yeah. You don't want a grumpy old man in your life? Look, I understand that you could have... Oh, hold on. Big Iono here. Let's see what happens off that, and then I will talk about my professor's research choices after this.
I think our Regidrago player will be just a-okay because the V-Star is still available. So
Yeah.
no matter how bad that Iono was, I think they're covered.
Honestly,
okay, carry on.
Professor
Rowan?
Yeah. I am a Professor Rowan enjoyer. I am a Gen 4 enjoyer. Don't get me wrong, the Professor Oak reaching out, breaking the card box, and signing it seems kind of cool.
That's pretty good.
You know, but like everybody wants like the Dandy Daddy or the Muscle Mommy, right? Full arts, but like...
The what?
What do you mean?
Are we talking about the same professors?
No, I know. I understand.
Who's calling Turo daddy?
You'd be sad. Look, the internet's a large place.
I can't believe I just said that. Chat,
is this
do
real?
I need to leave? Chat, do I need to exit the stream?
Well, even if you exit the stream, I would encourage everybody else to hang on and enjoy this Regidrago Charizard match, because this Regidrago player is not going anywhere, unlike my assistant caster over here.
I'm not saying anything.
That's okay.
I'm not saying anything because I've left. I have to capture the avatar to reclaim my honor, man.
I understand, but I am a Rowan enjoyer.
Ooh, we got a pass. That's a big pass.
Again, this is what we were talking about, right? Like, you get those 3 knockouts, you put yourself down to 1 prize card, but, you know, you're kind of stuck, right? Without using the V-Star, and the V-Star is there and available. It's just, are you willing to use it, right? You go for, I'm assuming you would go for a Vessel. How many cards do you grab off Regidrago? I didn't do my research.
You discard 7 and you pull 2 out of the discard.
Yeah, okay,
so
cool.
You have the entirety of the discard to work with.
Right, so let's assume that you're going to, you grab well, I guess it depends how many energy you're left in deck, right? You don't know yet. So you go Earth and Vessel, grabbing, you know, Fire, Grass, then grab the energy switch and put it on there and get your knockout, you know? But then again, we can't really see the game log here, so we don't know what else is going on. So we'll have to figure it out from here.
Well, like, thinking for a moment, which is difficult for me, as we've already established, there's 2 Regidrago V-Star on the board, so that means even if one is knocked out, the V-Star ability is still able to be used. And you just need to take 1 knockout. It could be a knockout on anything, and it could even just be a Phantom Dive on that Dusk Skull on the bench. Like, it's so simple, just take a prize. So, the thought of passing the turn might not be immediately intuitive, but it makes sense, because now what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to draw another card, so you can use Ultra Ball for maybe a new EX, so you can draw 3 cards so that you can keep playing, and that when you finally use your discard, you use it to the best possible effect.
So this is by the way, we are getting the Prime Catcher and the Grass Energy, because they're just going to attack with their Teal Mask Ogerpon, knocking out that Dusk Skull, or Dusk Skull. Wow, Dusk Skull.
It only takes 1.
I know. It's so crazy that you know how much work was put in to get that knockout. But you know what isn't crazy? Videos from the Shuffle Squad. Folks, if you are new to the channel and you enjoy this type of content, drop a subscribe on the Shuffle Squad content, where there is videos Monday through Friday on your favorite Pokemon TCG standard that is going on. Maybe it's not your favorite, but you know.
Monday through Friday?
Yeah,
Monday through Friday?
Or Monday, Wednesday, Friday? I don't know.
Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday? Monday
through
PJ,
Friday.
what's your upload schedule, bud? I don't know why I just promoted it, something that may not be a thing. Okay, folks.
We need this information.
Folks, while it's going on, and while I check my sources and also my pulse to make sure I am still alive, we will be right back as we check on any other games that are currently going on. Be right back. Back in. Hello everybody and welcome back. Also, my camera's broken, so I'm looking very just enthused right now. Kara, give us 2 seconds as I fix my camera. This stuff happens.
He's fixing his camera. My main goal is to fix the camera.
My main goal is to make sure that I can get this running without a hitch. Let's see. Nope, that did not work.
Main goal?
Give us 2 seconds. Michaela, do you want to entertain everybody as I fix the camera?
I want to entertain everybody constantly. Like, that's just fun. But while our esteemed and illustrious friend is fixing the camera, I'm going to take a look at our metagame and our standings for the rest of Late Night 203. Our standings are Snorlax is in first place with a commanding 9-0 lead. Control, it is your day to day. What is this list playing? We've got 4 Snorlax, Cornerstone Ogerpon. That's interesting. I haven't seen that in a Snorlax list. Then again, I'm not looking. Okay, a lot of good stuff in here. Xerosic's Machinations making its way into a deck. I was wrong about that card. I thought it would be everywhere because making your opponent go down to 3 cards is just such a powerful effect. It's almost like an inverse Delinquent, if you remember that from the 2016-ish era.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, Xerosic's Machinations, everybody's going to be playing that card. Turns out, I was wrong. Very rare.
Honestly, I was very surprised that that card did not get seen anywhere. Right? It's crazy. I apologize. I think that my camera is my stuff just straight up failed forward. So I will fix.
I think we can make it work.
Yeah, I got something. Don't worry.
You're voiding. You're in the void. You're avoiding us.
Keep going. But
okay.
No, but I'm so surprised that we haven't seen that card at all. I remember when PJ and I were talking about all this stuff, right? We were talking about how that card is broken for control. Right? And like we will just always see it everywhere. And it's insane, right? Like I never thought that it would be one of those things that like, you know, control doesn't even want to touch it. It's like, you know, how we only see like what? We're not seeing as many Aries as we were in the past, right? So
yeah, and just in general, the way that draw is now, going down to 3 is less of a hindrance than it would have been in eras where Octillery was the standard, or where you needed to rely purely on your supporters for draw. So it's just a different time.
Honestly, it's one of those things that the more and more I see man, it always feels bad when this control stuff doesn't work out, right? Because I always want this stuff to like really shine, but you know, you can only do so much in the current meta.
Yeah. And speaking of the current meta, Regidrago, our two Regidrago players in top 16 are both doing well. The one we just watched, Gyarados 1349, and also Tomoki Honda, who is winning against the, what was it, I think the Buffalon deck? No, the Noivern EX Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX deck. It's sort of an evolution on the version with Alolan Vulpix, the snowy one. Very cute.
Yeah. And honestly, like, it's one of those things. I always feel bad for people who are like, I don't want to play against control my locals, right? Because you're always like, hey, you know, I understand, but people need to test this somewhere, and people need to be able to, you know, have a healthy format.
Chat, while we're waiting for our next round of games, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. We'll tell you the truth that the people don't want you to know.
Yeah, do you want to know why these control cards aren't played? It's because the Pokemon Cabal are stopping them from being played. You know, the meta fixes.
You can't bring that up, man.
I know,
That's secret.
We'll get in trouble.
That's secret.
So let's.
It's Janine's secret art. Did you read that card yet? Sharded Fable, Janine's secret art.
Yes. Can I tell you about the fact that my only Shrouded Fable video did not perform well because it was on Okidogi and Janine's secret art? And everybody was like, Okidogi's real bad. I'm like, yeah, but it could do 330. And they're like, what world are you living in?
Yeah, I'm with them. I think you're wrong. We've been asked favorite ice cream flavor. And this is some real hard hits.
Okay, go for it.
White chocolate Oreo from my favorite ice cream store.
Okay. A white chocolate Oreo is like pretty baller. I will say that I'm a cookie dough enjoyer.
Ooh.
So,
I love cookie dough ice cream, but they kind of look like kibbles. Like they kind of look like your dog should be eating that, even though it's made of chocolate, and your dog should never be eating that.
Yeah, of course.
But they're so good.
And honestly, it's one of those things that, man, I keep jumping into the same phrasing. I apologize. With that type of ice cream, I always feel like that I want to enjoy it, but I can only have like one scoop, right? Because I feel like it outlives its day, or like outlives its flavor, right? And there we go. I will put myself in here as a temporary PNG as we get this stuff open. And
ooh, your mouth moves. How'd you do that?
Yeah, I got a little animated stuff from when I used to do D&D. So what do you think? What are your predictions for Baltimore? I'm really bad at making predictions. I'm known for making like the worst takes known to man for about predictions.
All right. Deep cuts for Baltimore. Regidrago will be there.
How could you say something so controversial yet so brave?
It's unfathomable. All right, Regidrago will be there because that deck is just really good. It's just real classic. A lot of outs. The mirror is not obtrusive or obnoxious to play. I think in general, Regidrago is the smart choice. I don't think it's going to win. I think a deck that we're not expecting at all is going to win. Maybe this sort of Noivern Cornerstone Mask EX deck has a chance, or an Ancient Box list with maybe some strange tweaks. I've often wondered if a Poison type engine, so that you can use the Toxic Mochi card, I believe it's called Binding Mochi, if you can use the poison from the Binding Mochi plus the extra 40 to do a little bit more damage than you otherwise could in the early game. But that's me on, playing it in the corner,
like
not
magical
reality.
Christmas. So in Magic, we call it Magical Christmas Land, when everything kind of lines up and like, everything's perfect. So you're telling me that when we were making Worlds predictions, the thing that I had said was we were doing bingo cards, and I was like, can I fill mine with the Quad Thorn Sweep? Because I had been obsessed with Quad Thorns for weeks and weeks. I had told people, you need to be playing Quad Thorns. It's so good. But I meant this like tongue-in-cheek. I wasn't being serious. I was like, Quad Thorns is my favorite deck. I've built Quad Thorns. I've done all this stuff. Is it good? No. It wasn't good at the time.
I disagree. I think because Lugia was doing really well right when Quad Thorns was starting, it made more sense.
Of course. I just feel like the more and more you try to play with Quad Thorns... Okay, cool. I got my camera fixed. Sorry. As we're... ADHD moment. you know, as you kind of see like Lugia and stuff grow, because let's be honest, who really thought Lugia was the play for Worlds? I mean, obviously the people that did well with Lugia, right? But like, as a
I mean, it made top
spectator-
9. I made top 9.
I know, but as a spectator, come on, do you really think that Lugia was the play for Worlds? It kind of came out of nowhere.
I've been surprised. I thought Lugia was workable. It wasn't my top choice, but I thought it was workable.
Right.
I was not a Regidrago believer, though. Like, I liked and played and enjoyed Regidrago. I didn't think it would make that many spots in the top 8. I thought maybe like 2.
I'm also very surprised that it worked that well. Sorry, I am checking right now to see if we have any other games going. Looks like we might have a game up and running right now. Let me just make sure. It looks like we have a game going of what looks like to be... let me verify this with judge staff that our Regidrago player is not just simply playing a random game, but it looks like they are playing right now for top 8. It looks like it is, I almost said Lost Box, Ancient Box versus Regidrago V-Star. Just in time for me to get my camera fixed. Are you excited to see this matchup? I think this is something that might be really cool to see.
I'm excited to see this matchup and excited to see you back on camera.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, folks, we will be right back as we get this game started. We are live.
We're back?
We are back.
My god, we were trapped in there for so long. I can't breathe.
Yeah, it's almost like sitting across from a Lugia player playing their first or second turn.
Oh, that's so stressful. You're just waiting to see if they're gonna brick.
Honestly,
They're just waiting to see if they're gonna brick.
Yeah, and you know, you never feel good because you don't want to play against someone that's not playing the way that they should until you're playing in a competitive setting. But, you know, at the same time, I like to take free wins, I think, as much as anybody else does. So.
Okay, we need to talk about what's on screen. We need to talk about what's on screen because there's a great Tusk in the active position. When has that happened?
Honestly,
that's not supposed to happen.
Honestly, I feel like we see Great Tusk played a lot into the matchups where, you know, you really feel like that your opponent's churning through their decks a lot. So people that like to draw cards, people that like to, you know, stuff like Regidrago V-Star is really good to have Great Tusk into, right? So like you want to mill them, you want to get them down on cards, because before you know it, you're gonna mill them out. Like they can't remember that V-Star attack or that V-Star ability does mill them 7 cards. So by, you know, milling them on top of everything else that's going away, you stop them from doing anything that they want to do.
Interesting.
Personally, I approve of what is going on here. Are you a big fan of the Great Tusk mill lists?
Oh, the one with the neutralization zone?
Yep.
That is just precious, and I think it's beautiful, and I hope it wins. I mean, I hope it doesn't because I hope I win.
Right,
but I also hope
of
it
course.
wins. For the culture, you understand?
Do you think it's real risky for our player here to be using Pokestop or to consider using Pokestop?
Depends on what you're digging for. I don't think it makes sense. With 13 cards in the deck and 2 Great Tusk in play, I would not. But not being able to take a KO there is so gross. I don't see what the win out here is, because what you really need to be doing is Kyurem board wiping. Kyurem is around on the bench, so you can't use it. Like, this is like perfect conditions for the Tusk player to, you know, it's an Ancient Box deck, but it's a Tusk player.
Of course.
I don't know if Regidrago has an out.
Honestly, when it comes down to this, right? Like, you know, we see that you know, everything's kind of getting set up. We have that second Great Tusk kind of ready to go. I'm pulling up deck lists because I was very surprised at this Ancient Box setup. But like, you know, that Roaring Moon's, you know, ready to attack if needed, but you really don't want to attack here because that's not your win condition anymore. There's 8 cards left in deck.
Rough. You can't use this. You can't use the trigger to go get a V-Star. You can't attack with Phantom Dive because you can't get a V-Star. and unless you have 2 Super Rod and a Dream, it's over.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just it's kind of where you can't really do much. Like, there's not much to talk about. It's just how cool that the setup is. You're playing stall. Look at that counter catcher coming out, getting the knockout anyway, taking some prizes.
This is rough.
Look, you know what? They're trying to win on 2 axes right now. Anything, decking out their opponent or taking prize cards. I'm excited.
It's literally
to see what
working.
happens.
It's literally working. Like, this is just so intelligent.
We have to.
Oh, this is the ruling question.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was gonna say,
go ahead.
can you still use the V-Star attack if there's nothing left in your deck to discard? The V-Star ability that discards 7, if there's not 7, you can discard until there's 0. But if there's 0, can you still use the ability? And I think it's just so you have to like we're gonna have to read the text, see if it says if there's a comma, if there's an and. But like
right,
this is a weird scenario.
Let me pull up. Yeah. I'm gonna pull up rulings as we go.
Excellent.
Let's see if I.
We could also. We could also ask our judge team. Although I'm inclined to just do it ourselves. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, as a.
That's good. I think we will ask the judge team then. In fact, we cannot avoid asking the judge team because we are the judge team.
From my understanding, you attempt to do as much as possible, right? So if there are any cards to discard, right, then you do it. So like a good example of this is, I'm thinking I think it's okay. I think it works. Let me double check. Let me triple check.
This is so rough. What do you do in this scenario? You have to V-Star, but the V-Star is basically terrible.
You assume that the game is over at that point, right?
I guess. I mean, like, okay. Here's the Giga Brain plan. You discard your entire deck, you pull back an Iono and a Superior Energy Retrieval, and then you shuffle back in with the Iono, and all of a sudden your deck's full again.
Okay, so I got us an
That's
answer.
the Giga Brain play.
I got us an answer.
What do we do?
If you have no cards remaining in your deck, you cannot use it. Because it is a May ability, right? Like, at any point you may do this, right? Mm-hmm. It has to have something to fit the condition, so there has to be a card.
All right, we saw the Legacy V-Star.
You have to do it.
There's
right?
The
There's the Iono. You tuck cards back into your deck, but if you go to draw more than what's in your hand, oh my gosh, this is insane.
The Iono will put 2 cards back in deck, at least. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, in terms of net gain, we'll put 6 in deck, 4 to your hand, so 2 in deck. And
there's
Super could get 3, so you're not 5, so that should give you at least 1 turn. But at 4 prizes remaining, you need more than that, and you still need to attack.
Right. I think this is such a weird and unique situation that we'll probably see more if Regidrago becomes the meta deck. I'm super interested. This is so cool.
Sequencing.
You think, I mean, obviously our Regidrago players should use them, use the Mew ability after getting, or research or something, right? Obviously.
So you have to Super Rod.
Of course.
I think you probably get some energies.
Maybe... I think it's only energies that you put in there, right? You only put in grass because there's fire in hand.
I was gonna say Radiant Charizard, but then I thought about it because even if you put down the Radiant Charizard, it can't keep attacking.
Right. You attack once and then you're kind of stuck.
What is the plan? There's no plan.
At this point, you're playing to not win. You're playing to not lose. Is like how you want to play this matchup, which is insane.
Iono will guarantee the energy.
100%.
This is so.
Oh, there's the Kyurem coming up.
Okay, good. I think you have to do that.
Well, I think by allowing the Kyurem to be in the active, you get it knocked out, which is another choice of attacks, but that doesn't even get enough damage out without getting
it's not a guarantee it gets knocked out either. You could just keep Great Tusking.
Honestly, if I'm the opponent, I would Hornet, or I'm sorry, I read their name. I would attack Land Collapse every single time.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Oh, there's the concede.
Yeah, you get the 2 Sada's Vitalities back into the deck, and then you're just either attacking or milling left and right. So that looks to be game 1, I believe.
Noah. Yep.
Man, this is crazy.
I mean, we missed a lot of that early game because that early game was what really clinched this one up.
I'm very interested to see how this this bracket's going to come out. Okay, looking at who is left. Man, there are so many cool matchups that we currently don't have, access to view right now. Like, we have another Regidrago versus a Gardevoir, and then we have that Arceus list versus someone that's playing something very odd. It's that Bouffalant list that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, Bouffalant box. I mean, I've never seen it. Maybe it's just been around and I'm blanking, but that's unusual for me. So,
Well,
whoever cooked that, I mean, Bouffalant decks have been around, but this particular list has not been making rounds recently.
Right.
So let me just say it that way. Yeah.
Well, I remember Bouffalant was played a little bit in other control decks that back when, my gosh, back maybe 3 sets ago, where Bouffalant was played and it was played as a one-of and you use it in very unique situations, but to just see it make the comeback is crazy.
Well, it's a really good answer to Regidrago because Regidrago plays 3 fire energy, sometimes as few as 2.
And honestly,
and that's
forced them to get the super rod, right?
Yep. And they can't even super rod. It's over.
I meant for the yeah, exactly, right? Like, unless they have that second one in discard, or that second one's attached, and then you kind of checkmate them.
Mm-hmm. Very good. It's a very good checkmate deck. Okay, we are opening with a Fluttermane versus Ogerpon opening, and Fluttermane blocks that Teal Dance ability, so the extra grass will just stay in hand. Nice, quiet, very demure. Let's see that Explorer's Guy dance. I'm sorry, is it not Brat Summer anymore? Oh, it's actually over. Brat Summer's actually over.
Yeah, someone informed me that it was fall the other day, and I'm very surprised.
I forgot.
So
it's now Bat Summer.
Incoming secret box here. This was when this card was originally printed. I thought that it would never see play, but definitely seen play here. Getting all those great cards out of that. Looks like an Explorer's Guidance, a Sada's, a Pokestop, and I believe the Nest Ball was the last one. I don't remember what the last one was.
I want to say a Dark Energy.
Okay, that makes sense.
I need to read Secret Box again. It's a fantastic card, but it's the sort of card that you look at, you reference, and then you forget about because it has. You get 4 cards out of your deck. You just make sure they're the right 4 cards, and then other than that, you just don't put your brain power into it.
Yeah, of course. And when it comes down to it, right? The Pokestop's not that bad either for Regidrago.
Correct.
Sorry,
it's really good at getting those dragon types out.
Well,
no, you got it. I was looking at the discarded Regidrago going, ooh, I hope that wasn't the only one.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Honestly, if I would check deck more, see what else is left inside, but maybe you just YOLO it. You say, hey, look, whatever's here is here, and that Fluttermane being in the active, not really doing much right now, but...
I noticed that they're going for an all Ogerpon strategy. I could see some pretty good appeal to that because now you have the ability to only attack with the grass type, so it doesn't really matter what's going on. You'll be able to knock out the Roaring Moon.
Honestly, and I think that's probably the best way going forward, right? You take as many knockouts as you can on the Roaring Moons. This has always been a tough matchup for me personally, being the 2 prize deck versus the Roaring Moons, but, honestly, not benching a Regidrago feels very weird, but it's definitely a route you can go, especially because slow and steady wins the race here. You don't want to really lose a lot of cards in deck.
Okay, we're gonna get another manual attach, but no attach. Oh, I spoke too soon. We have an energy switch.
Yep, that energy switch coming out. Let's see that attack coming out. Getting the knockout, we do have that. We do know that we've seen Counter Catcher being played in these decks as well, but the Regidrago come into hand.
I don't know if it's going to go down on the board. I feel like that's the kind of card you want to just hold on to, make sure it doesn't get discarded. Oh, it's on the board.
Oh, okay, it looks like it's coming down. That seems like I guess if you're Ionoing anyway, you might as well not want to draw that card, so you play it.
I mean, because there's a lot of basics you might just want to not draw, but I guess the thought is that you need to be able to have the V-Star ability access. The problem is you could get trapped with it in the active yet again. So
right, and then it's just a repeat of last game.
Exactly.
But
with 31 cards in deck, there's a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah, and we do see that energy switch in hand with the 2 energy there, right? The 2 grass energy. So we do get an attachment through Teal Dance on both of them, as well as an energy switch. So someone's going to be attacking somewhere. And that's
there's also pretty good play too. Right before the Iono, the discard off the Ultra Ball included the switch, so that you can get the switch off the Legacy Star. I thought that was smart.
I do think
I would have been like, oh, I want to discard that. Bam, it's perfect.
Yeah, because you don't care at a certain point, right? You're just like, hey, look, I'm going to make sure that I only really put stuff in discard that I can definitely grab off Regidrago V-Star that I need in the moment.
Yeah, and sometimes you want to capitalize too with just a good switch to the last second off of a Prime Catcher. So
we did see one of the Great Tusks going into the discard, so it looks like the Great Tusk is not the strategy here. It looks like they're just trying to go for a generic knockout, knowing that this Regidrago V-Star player seems to be pacing themselves.
That's true, but with Night Stretcher in the format, there could be a little bit of covert, sneaky play where you put it in the discard, your opponent forgets about it, and then bam, Night Stretcher, Sada, knockout, and then or not knockout, but deck out, and you're just like, I forgot about that. What do you do? There's Hawlucha. There's Vessel.
And the Vessel coming down, probably discarding, maybe discarding the
Cleffa.
Oh, the Cleffa.
It's Cleffa.
Yeah, the most hated card in the deck, Cleffa, right?
Only
grabbing that fire in that grass, getting ready for another quick knockout, probably attaching for turn onto. Oh, maybe not doing anything. Teal Dance maybe to the active to get some
so that you can Teal Dance energy switch.
Right. So you can get ready to energy switch it when needed. So just prep that Regidrago.
You have to energy switch it this turn before it gets knocked out, so...
That's true.
Bye-bye, Hawlucha.
You will be missed. 07.
But the good news is that Regidrago V-Star makes sure that even with a bad hand with no outs, you have outs. That's fantastic.
Definitely, and we see that energy switch coming down as you predicted before, right? Getting us into the position where, Regidrago V-Star will be ready to attack when needed. And there comes that Teal Mask Ogrepaw on attack, getting the knockout, grabbing another prize.
And there goes the Roaring Moon, roaring quietly into the discard.
So what do you think? Do you think that now that, our Regidrago V-Star player has seen that the Great Tusk go to the discard, they may feel a little bit more comfortable churning through their deck, or do you think you really still pace it?
I mean, if it were me, I'm sitting there holding my entire deck in my hands and going, sweet child, don't leave me. I'm not. After that game 1 where you lose by deck out, I would not be repeating that.
Definitely.
But at the same time, that is a downside to losing a game that way, because now your next game you're conservative, you're not using all your resources, and then you end up with hands like this where you have 3 cards. Right. And they're not the cards you want.
And not just that, but the Ancient Box player is just doing Ancient Box things, right? Not only do you have to worry about the Great Tusk, so you're fighting the game on 2 axes here, right? You're trying not to deck out, but at the same time, you want to use that thing that makes Regidrago so great, being able to see all those cards, being able to draw all those cards with stuff like Fezandipity, and you're fighting against yourself and you're fighting against your opponent as well. So it's never good. There's no good answers here.
Yeah. Although the plus side is that the Fezandipity is right there if you want to draw something this turn. The extra grass energy you need is right there if you want to attack this turn, which you usually do. Jamming Tower has some creative use. Oh, I didn't think of that last game when there was 180 damage on the one Great Tusk and there was no Jamming Tower in play.
Yeah, they could have just dropped the Jamming Tower to get the knockout.
Yeah, they could jam out.
They could have a
What's your favorite flavor of jelly?
Yeah, my favorite. I'm a grape jelly enjoyer. I'm very
class.
I'm very boring.
I like strawberry, but my favorite jam all time is apricot. You ever had apricot jam?
I can see it. I've never personally had it, but I would never be opposed to it. So.
But it's delightful. My goodness, you haven't had apricot jam. Chat, is this real?
Chat, are we even real?
Oh no, I'm not real. Darn it. This is how I had to find out.
Sorry, you know what? Everybody has to find out the hard way, but you know what else is not feeling great though? Besides not figuring out that you're real, that professor's research, it needed to be played, but going down 7 cards in deck, just does not feel
Never
good when your
good.
opponent has the ability to deck you out.
Yeah, we're out looking for it now. Canceling Cologne was nothing.
Yeah, canceling Cologne is a card that sits in your deck that adds +1 to the deck count. But
Yeah, I mean, unless there was a Flutter Mane.
That's true. It does stop Flutter Mane.
That deck is so thin.
Oh my
What
gosh.
are we digging for? Okay.
Is it the Prime Catcher? Are they looking for the Prime Catcher? Maybe to get rid of the...
Could be.
Or maybe trying to put the Curium in the discard?
Oh. Ooh, wait a minute. This could be very intelligent because what's going on is this Phantom Dive is setting you up for Curium play, which is setting you up to win the game.
Right, so
You may be learning something from this.
Yeah, they're checking to make sure, but they haven't checked to see whether or not the Curium's in their prizes. I don't believe the Curium... I believe the Curium might be prized. Only reason I'm saying that is because when they nestballed earlier, it didn't look like Curium was an option. But then again, there's a lot going on here. So let's see. They are definitely setting up for that Curium win condition.
Yep, a single Hawlucha, and promote the Greninja and Curium time. That's all you need. I haven't seen... I think Hawlucha's in the discard, but because that was earlier. I haven't seen any Super Rod.
We did see one Super Rod used earlier, I believe.
Okay, that's good.
There is another one in the list, I believe, as well. But I don't know, because they did spin the Pokestop. I didn't remember what got discarded off the Pokestop, so...
The Super Rod couldn't have been discarded off the Pokestop, so there's at least one, I think.
Right.
Ancient Capsule. That's Cap.
That jamming tower
That
is
ancient box
looking real good now.
It's looking juicy.
Look, we still have... There is still the hope of going Legacy Star, right? So maybe, like...
Correct.
But every card in hand is good. 6 cards left in deck on the opponent's side. There is no Stretcher in discard. That's huge to see.
Watch them all be in the prizes.
There's 3 Great Tusks in discard. Oh my gosh. This is not looking good for our Ancient Box player at all. Super Odd coming down, shuffling in probably what looks to be maybe, I would say like probably maybe the Great Tusk, Roaring Moon. That's my prediction. Well, that's my Hail Mary.
It's your Male Harry?
Oh, nope. I was completely wrong. Roaring Moon and Dark Energy. Yeah, it was my Male Harry.
Okay. And are we getting an attack? I mean, you know what? I'm hating on this Ancient Box player for no reason, even though I love Ancient Box, because I'm over here saying, oh, is this a good play? Are you doing this? You're taking forever. Meanwhile, they're like actually giving a masterclass on how to deal 280 damage, which is an actual feat with this deck. So let me walk myself back, because I'm getting a little too crazy.
Man, if I am the Regidrago V-Star player, I am sweating a little bit here. You know, not only did I think that I was in the okay, but I am absolutely not okay. So maybe... Okay, so hear me out. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you promote the Regidrago, right? Oh no, because even that doesn't do it.
No, I think you have to promote the Ogerpon with a single grass, because that's pretty easy to retreat.
Right, and it can also attack if needed.
Yep. So you promote that. And you probably need to use the Legacy Star here, so that's good that you have it. Radiant Charizard's cool, and it could stall you a turn. I would expect to get bossed. You could do a Radiant Charizard Iono combo play, and then you go grab the jamming tower. I don't think it's good. I think it's an option. I don't think it's good.
Let's see what happens here.
That's step 1. Ultra Ball to thin the deck, or would you rather hold it? I think you're gonna hold it.
I think you hold it, right? Because, well, maybe it depends. Do they know what else is left in their deck, right?
If they want the Prime Catcher, then it makes sense to use the Ultra Ball. If they don't care about the Prime Catcher, you don't mind. The Professor's Research is a very free discard, and frankly, so is the second boss. So, in terms of thinning, I think it's okay. Look at all those dragons that are just waiting to be discarded. It's Kyurem Fun Hours. There's still a way to take 3 prizes this turn. I just don't know if we will. The Prime Catcher's in there. The Super Rod's in there. Both of those are good to see. So, I'm watching this Pokestop play, and I'm thinking, what are you trying to discard? Prime Catcher is good. That's really good. You want to see that off of the Pokestop. And how are you going to get the energy onto the Regidrago to attack? I mean, you could use both like a CV Star to grab 2 E-Switch, and that'll give you enough. And you have the Prime Catcher. But then you don't get the Hawlucha. You kind of need the Hawlucha, so you probably have to Iono. Oh, that makes discarding that... Oh, discarding the Professor's research earlier, that's really rough, because what you're trying to do this turn is you know what, never mind. If there's no E-Switch in deck, it doesn't work anyway, because you still needed the Jamming Tower to take 3 prizes because of the capsule, and there's no way to get rid of the capsule. So the triple cure in play is not even possible right now. So we pivot to the Charizard play very smartly. I don't think we're going to use the Prime Catcher. I don't think it really matters which one you KO. I'd rather personally hold it. So we switch out, we get the Charizard, we get the Iono, we carry on, we go home happy. I think that's how it has to be. This is so rough. Getting Iono to 2 is never fun, particularly when you're the Roaring Moon player, because the amount of draw you have is 2 cards. Super Rod in hand, that's good. Not the Kyurem play is happening, and that's the only thing it was really for. But it's good for recovery in general. Are we seeing it getting played? There's some hesitation. There's some thinking. There's some thinkfulness. Some thoughts. Some words of wisdom. That Super Red is not getting played. Oh, it's getting played. I was wrong. It's honestly, I who've been played.
I just don't know what you do at this point with the Super Rod. Like,
I mean, you definitely get the Hawlucha just in case maybe next turn you can get the Kyurem play, but like, right. You're already hoping that there was a miracle. I kind of don't like the way the order of the Super Rod and the Flip the Script went.
Right. Because you want to think, I mean, unless they were really looking to target those cards that they shuffled back in, but I don't think they were.
I kind of wanted to see a Legacy V-Star so that you can pull up the Jamming Tower so you can get rid of the Stadium, so there's less chance of getting a counter catcher back.
Right. There's the Hawlucha.
And Kyurem is not even in the discard yet. Like, this is just, it's all going bad.
Well, I mean, there's 7 cards left in deck, right? So we can get there, but I don't think you will with everything that's going on here.
If that Charizard isn't knocked out this turn, then it's literally just going to be there in the way. Literally. 10 damage across the board. Fresh brisket on the board.
Yep, and just like that, right? Like, you know, Radiant Charizard doing its thing, right? It has one job. That job is to get a quick KO and get knocked out in return.
Combustion Blast does the stuff, and it's Roaring Moon. Did you draw a Gust card?
I mean, or are you going to get close to drawing a Gust card?
There's a chance. There's a Palpad.
Hey, there's the Palpad.
Is there a boss? There's a boss. Pokegear? Secured. It's secured. The bag has been secured.
Man, I can't believe, like you said, a masterclass at Ancient Box, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Ancient Box playing.
Crazy.
It was unjustified, the slander I was slinging.
I know, and just like that, we are ready to move on to the next round. We do have another player currently playing, but give us a couple minutes as we will be right back to figure out who is playing what next, and we'll get you gameplay ASAP. So hold on tight. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We had to jump live right away as we fixed some stuff up live because we have an awesome matchup that we have been like two of the coolest decks that we were looking to see all day. So I am going to fix this live as I fix it live, folks. Please enjoy some commentary about these lists. Michaela, do you want to...
It's not some commentary. It's all the commentary. And I have so many things to say. This is the moment. This is the mission. We're looking at insanity here. I think the only real attacker that can do damage is the Liepard on the bench, which has no energy on it. This is ludicrous. What am I looking at here? I don't understand.
So it looks to be... We're looking at what seems to be a Arceus list that attacks with Regidrago VMAX? That's insane. Good. That is not something I expected to see. That was not on my bingo card.
I think I have to throw out my bingo card. Like, if this was... Imagine if you sit down and every other table is playing this mirror match. Like, or it's not a mirror, but like every other table is playing this exact matchup. You look at your deck and it's not one of these two, and you're just like, am I even playing the same game?
Yeah, am I in the form?
That's how I
the correct format? But look at
that. Did a new set come out and no one knows about it?
But imagine playing... How good do you feel as the control player when you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, it's Mimikyu and Mimikyu. Also, this also has a mist energy, so good luck winning. I
mean, that's got to be addictive.
Like,
the problem is, I think it's weak to darkness.
That is true. Oh, yeah, so the Liepard can attack?
Well, the Liepard would be dealing 60 damage because it normally does 50. You attach the double turbo, it does 30. 30 times 2 is 60. Mimikyu has 70 HP. So like this is quick maths, but I don't know if we can take a one-hit KO.
You do not. But how many? I wonder how many lightning energy are in the list. It looks like 5 lightning energy and 3 fire.
So that's 8 basic. At least 2 of them have been used. That deck is looking awful small. So I would wager they may be out of energy.
This is crazy. This is not the game that I was looking to cast today. I was not expecting anything like this. I was hoping that I saw this maybe in the finals, right? Like, imagine just like pulling up this list.
You imagine rolling up to your locals with this and then winning? Good feelings.
Like there'd be a whole Twitter thread about how I brought a control list to the... You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's about 50k views. And there's nothing even in the lost zone. Like, none of the energy are in the lost zone. They're just
chilling.
Useless.
Just imagine you're sitting here as a Bouffalant player, and you're like, well, you know, I wanted to show you how cool my list was, so I did by playing 2 Mimikyus and just passing. They are...
we're getting a little chit-chat.
We're getting live, you know...
There's an Ion... Oh, no, that's a judge. That's a judge. Yeah. I was wrong. I judged too soon. Pidgeot V makes a shocking return.
I guess, to be fair, they are checking to see if their opponent is you know, offering a concede or offering something. Or,
oh, true. No. But, although typically if you do that, you just like press the concede button.
Yeah, you just press the concede button twice. And by the way, this is still round 1. You know, like there is no win-loss recorded on the board.
Are they gonna even get to a game 2? Like, let alone a game 3. Are they gonna get to a game 2?
Yeah, I wonder if you... man, this is so crazy. There are 3 prizes taken from the Arceus list, though, so I'm kind of... Oh my gosh, the Xerosis machinations there as well. Gosh, there's so much going on here.
What kind of machinations do you think he's machinating?
I don't know. I'm just looking at him and reminded myself of how much he looks like Dr. Robotnik in that photo.
Yeah, he's the same guy. He's the same guy.
Yeah, look, have you seen them both in the same room? I don't think so.
Have you seen them both in the same console?
No. Absolutely. Well, I mean, maybe with the Switch, but...
That's true.
Who
he
knows?
did make it into Smash Bros. Brawl for 3DS, so you could see them on the same console.
I think so, too.
I said Brawl for the 3DS, as though Brawl was on the 3DS. Let's just... pretend I didn't say that Smash Brothers Brawl was available on the Nintendo 3DS console system. I never said that. I would not say that.
Yeah, you'd redact
and
it,
you didn't
right?
hear it.
Yeah, of course. Hey, well, we got to PJ delete the VOD.
PJ has many reasons to delete this VOD. Most of them are me.
Look, you know what? We'll adjust. We'll overcome. But
Will we?
I mean,
Can we? Is it possible?
so
Find out next time.
this is so
on late night.
awkward, right? In this situation, because you're like, hey, how do I reply about whether or not my opponent's slow playing, my opponent is just doing their thing? Because this, like, from a judging situation, right? Because I've judged cups and things like that, and I do judging on on these late night EUs. One of the things that's always the hardest is you sitting here and you going, is my opponent slow playing, or is my opponent just trying to figure out what the heck to do? Right? Because there's that fine line that you have to draw of whether or not someone's doing something on purpose. Now, if you're this far in and plays are being made in a timely manner, and looking at let's look at the 12 minutes versus 14 minutes on the clock, there's obviously a little bit of not tomfoolery, nothing else going on here. Just hey, look, people are trying to figure out what to do. They're keeping up the pace, but it's always the hardest thing against control.
Yeah, this is a true, honest game here. I mean, with the Zerosic clearing out the hand size, that's going to advance the game state slightly forward. So, a couple more passes, one Pal Pad and Pokegear later. I think this is the path you have, is just duck them out.
So, are you rolling up to your locals with the Buffalant control list next week? Before
Am I? No.
Or when Stellar
I'm not that
out?
powerful.
Okay.
I'm weak. I'm going to show up with Palkia. Because it's time for Palkia to come back, baby!
Look,
Woo!
you know what?
Palkia years!
Are you a Palkia believer?
I'm a Palkia lover.
Okay.
Me and Palkia, we go way back.
You go way back? Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear about this list that came out in Astral Radiance with the Inteleon in it? Chef's kiss.
Yeah. Seems pretty good to me.
We've got photos in each other's yearbooks. It's standard. So me and Palkia are ready to throw down again.
So
with
I'm wondering
a very
if
large bench.
friendship with Inteleon ended. My new best friend is Noctowl.
Inteleon left me. Okay, I need to talk about this. I need to talk about this because no one understands. But Inteleon and I, we had something really special. She would search 2 edge trainer cards for me. I would put her on the bench despite being a stage 2. And then she left. She dumped me. I can't believe it. Now I'm here all alone.
Folks, this is what control does to your casters, by the way. I'll have you know.
Does it?
We have to fill the air because we can't talk about, what's the control player going to do? Press the end turn button. You know what I mean? So it's understandable that...
Oh, good.
No,
I think we hit the monkey's paw on this one because we were talking this is going to be the best matchup all time. We're going to see the 2 coolest new decks, and we are. Oh, we're seeing them. We just didn't know what we signed up for.
Of course. And so there's 1 card left in deck. Obviously, you play to your routes. The only thing that I'm thinking is that, what could our Arceus player do to get out of this situation besides, reminisce about the next format?
Or ADP.
Yeah, or ADP. Please, no. I just had Vietnam War flashbacks.
Oh, ripperoni.
Do you think that, So I'm curious about the no attacks on the Mimikyu. Do you think that there's no attacks on the Mimikyu just because of the fact that it's not needed? Or do you think it's to try to get out of a certain situation? I don't understand why.
I think it's time.
Is it just time, you think?
Because they just won. They just won.
Yeah.
So the longer it takes you to do your turn, the less game 2 you get. All right, we're moving on to game 2, and by game 2, I mean we're gonna get to watch them set up. That's cool.
I'm going to. Okay, cool. So they ended up. Oh gosh, they're probably talking about how long things are taking, and that stinks. But,
they're not. They're conversing only about critical topics.
Yeah, of course. Hey, look, here's the thing, right? I'd prefer that everybody's being nice and having a nice chat in chat rather than other things that we've seen that players talk to each other about that may not be as savory.
Frankly, our conversation has been more suspicious than chat's today. Chat has been well-behaved little angels.
Yeah, of course. Chat, for people who are hanging out in chat today, let us know who you think is going to win. Is it the Arceus Regidrago V-Star list, or is it the Buffalant control?
Both of those words are very unusual to say in a top cut, but I'm glad we're saying them.
Oh my gosh,
someone has to.
And then after this, like, whoever goes on from this, we're going to see some really cool stuff going into, like, top 4. Again, this is,
Absolutely.
like, whoever wins this gets in the top 4. We get to see some other really cool things. I think I'm looking to see what else is in top 4. Maybe while this is going on, maybe we will flash forward to, you know, our current standings while we wait for this game to go forward. So let's do that. Let's look at our current standings. Gameplay showing, it looks like that both lists are being looked at, right? They're sitting there.
This is Giga Brain. You're counting your, like the ability to have open deck lists, I think, makes the tournament more fun because you can like math out in your head, but you can't do it in real life because, you know, it's peeking at lists.
Yeah, it's too.
Can't be doing that.
Look, you know what? There's a ton of different card games that use open deck lists. It's
true.
Honestly, it's a personal preference when it comes down to that, and I am glad.
I think it makes a really good dichotomy.
Well,
yeah, I love them. I think they're so fun.
I think the only thing that actually, you know what? Let's talk about this, and we'll talk about open deck lists in a bit. Looking at that capturing aroma from the Arceus V-Star, flipping that heads, probably grabbing an Arceus V-Star plus maybe the Lipard, right? Or whatever the stage.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the Lipard.
You're correct. They haven't given it a third Evo. Although a lot of Pokemon are getting really cool evolutions these days. Like the fact that Bisharp evolves now, like I can't tell you how much it would have blown my mind after Black and White. I would have just been like, "You're kidding! There's no way! They added another one? What's above a Bishop?" And then it's a King because it's King.
Yeah, of course.
But
of
like,
course.
I didn't know chess went that high. So.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like most people are, you know, when we were growing up, it was all about like trying to figure out what how did your stuff fit in with Pokemon, right? Chess, you know, if there's no Pokemon named after it, I don't care what's going on in chess. I was trying to make another cool dichotomy, but the joke fell flat. So let's just push forward and talk about the matchup.
It fell flat like a chessboard, King. It fell flat like a chessboard.
No audio on this scene. Oh, that, you
Can
know
I
what?
hear
That's
us?
probably from when we were on the limitless standings list. That's my fault.
We've been just talking to the void this whole time?
No, this part we're
I've been talking
fine.
to the void.
Well, this part we're fine. It was just talking about the limitless board. So let me make sure that I do.
Chat, is James being ludicrous? Is he ludicrous, chat? Chat, we need to check this.
Look, that's what I get when I make everything last second. So.
All right, our good friend Asmodemus in the chat is letting us know.
Thank you, appreciate it. Well, I fixed that in the future, so that should no longer ever be a problem.
Okay, we just saw a really good Airy play that only grabbed, 0 item cards.
And, like, if I'm sitting here, right, and I just Airied and I hit no item cards, I'd check the deck list too, and I'd be like, what are the odds of that happening? What is going on here?
Judge time.
Now, I wonder the reason why...
Oh,
I wonder why you evolved the Arceus V-Star in the back. Probably just because you're trying to ramp to the Arceus V-Star as well. Right? So...
Maybe it has something to do with basics?
Oh, Jamming Tower's coming down.
Not
Okay,
it.
there we go.
What music do you think the Jamming Tower plays? Genre, like EDM, swing, pop.
So normally I'd be like, it plays like lo-fi hip hop, right?
Ooh,
but I think it
neat.
just plays the sound of like your smoke detector when it's low on batteries. Just every now and then it does the chirp. And that's what makes the tools not work, because everybody just drops their tools. They're like, dang it, not again.
Oh, that's smart. I would have said it's doing boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cat, you know, like just a little beat. But
it's the college radio of the area.
Yeah, I mean, radio towers have had a pretty long history in the Pokemon series of being plot relevant, so I could see the plot being relevant. There's the Liepard. We're getting Zoroark back next season. How do you feel about that?
I missed it so much, but I'm very hesitant because they don't like making end stuff good. So I wonder what type of end Pokemon are we gonna get. But
I mean, they know we love Zoroark. They know we love Zoroark in the card game.
We did get the knockout with Power Edge. I haven't seen a knockout from Power Edge in like years.
Oh, that's why they evolved the Arceus in the back, because it couldn't have an ability. If it had an ability, it couldn't hit through Cornerstone.
Right.
Right. That took way too long. That took way too long.
Look, you know what?
Heroes Kate Mimikyu?
I mean, it's fine because there's a jamming tower out. But I get it.
Oh, that's
right?
true. That's true. Well, now what you need is to switch, to attack with Liepard twice, and pray. I don't know if we're getting that.
I don't think we're getting that, but you know what? We can hope, right?
Whew.
I always love the Arceus setup because, like, you know, being able to tutor for 3 cards, right? Find whatever you need. No, I'm sorry, not 3, 2 cards. And find whatever you need to get yourself out of a unique situation. You're always like, do I Starbirth earlier or do I Starbirth later? Do I Starbirth for the setup or do I Starbirth for the save? Right? But I don't know. You think Liepard is the savior we need in the Pokemon TCG format?
No, I don't think Liepard is that at all. I think it's the only thing that's gonna knock out that Mimikyu though. So, chop, get on that. Heads on the flip. Probably Regidrago VMAX.
Yeah, it has to be Regidrago VMAX here, right? Like
Vegetable Lucky VMAX.
But I guess it makes sense, right? Because you're not going to take advantage of Fezandipity because your stuff doesn't get knocked out that often. You're not going to use Mew because you always want cards in hand because you draw so many cards, right? And you're not using Barrel. You're a judge-based deck. I guess it makes sense in the long run. But that hand does not look good for our Barrel, or I'm sorry, not Barrel, for our Bouffalant control player.
You'd be surprised having 2 Mimikyu out. That does some good numbers.
It's true. And you can penny up the Rotom as well?
Although, truth be told, that's 3 Mimikyus. That's a statistically unlikely amount of Mimikyus.
I was going to say, you know what's better than 1 Mimikyu? 2 Mimikyus. You know what's better than 2 Mimikyus? 3 Mimikyus.
This is making Mimic news. There's an Arven.
They're just a bunch of Mimic dudes.
They've chosen to mimic you.
Use their Arven. Yeah, I'm okay with what's happening here. I just feel like that they're getting tools out of their deck that they don't want to draw, right? So at the end of the day, they want to make sure that they do not need to do anything else except set up for knockouts on things that could knock out the Mimikyu.
Yeah, that's at least the good part of counter-catching up the Liepard, is as long as they have an energy, they can capitalize and take 1 of the 3 KOs. So between the 4 cards they had and this judge, decent odds. Did they get it? I don't know.
All right, there's another kitty cat coming out. Let's go.
Me wow. You get oh, that's right. We have the trade as well. Never underestimate the power of the trade. There it is.
Okay. Okay.
It should deal knockout damage. I was wrong. Why was I wrong?
I don't know why.
Does it not have weakness?
It's weak to steel.
It doesn't. I've been fooling around this entire time. Okay,
and
you can still knock it out
victory
with the kitty cat.
From the...
It's still the little kitty cat.
Yeah, there you go.
It is the roasting. Hey, where was he? You know, he was hiding.
Yeah, he was hanging out. He was like, you know what? You have to knock out some stuff to garner my attention.
He's very selective.
That's the third judge in a row. Let's be real honest.
There's 4 judge in the list. There's 4 judge in the list.
It's kind of crazy.
Are you being judgmental?
A little bit.
It's okay. The
hoping
judge
that...
is making me mental.
I was gonna say
that judge is you, by the way. You're the judge.
I was gonna be a little bit. I was gonna throw down some judgment here on this matchup. That's 3 heads on the Purloin, knocking out the Mimikyu. Let's go. My gosh, the Hail Mary right there.
Did I blink and?
Yeah, you missed the 3
the game
heads in
state
a row on the
flipped?
Purloin.
What?
My gosh. The Bouffalant's gonna come down, and the Bouffalant's going to exile that, or sorry, Lost Zone that energy. How much you want to bet?
I don't know.
Actually, it's probably not worth it, because if you do that, then you set up some weird non-stalemate situation.
You're right. You need a penny if you do that, because if you put down the Bouffalant, you can gust up the Rotom, take 2, and gust up the Bouffalant, take 1.
Yep.
Yeah, that's correct. I was a little surprised that turn that they didn't go for the Energy Lotto before the instant charge, because I'm thinking they want to get a Psychic Energy ASAP.
Right.
Ooh, 3 tails. Ooh, no.
Look, they just flipped 3 heads, right? I think that things need to balance out a little bit.
Do they? Must they? Shall they? Should they? Disagree. Okay, we saw the penny.
Yep.
We could be getting a Rotom lift. That's not a Psychic Energy.
The Mist Energy's nice here, but like there's nothing that it really helps besides, you know, just being... Oh, hold on, wait a second. We did get the Zone getting the searching with the Forest Sealstone. There's that Psychic Energy that you were asking for.
Yeah, I was curious. I think she deserves better. Penny, lift up the Q. The ability of Mimikyu to attack with the DTE is pretty solid. No minus 50 there.
Were you expecting to see this type of matchup today where, like, I mean, we always expect Control to a certain extent, right? Because Control does well in late night, but to have, like, this type of Control matchup where everybody's trying to finagle around the Purloin?
No, I think if you had told me to choose whether the sun would fail to rise tomorrow or whether I'd see this in Top Cut, I would have said the sun would definitely rise tomorrow. Because there's no way that this would make it into Top Cut.
Right. See, the only thing that I really don't know if I like here, I understand why they're searching for the energy to put out in places and do whatever, because they don't want to draw an energy, right? Drawing an energy means that the game is basically over for them. But, oh my gosh, this is such a stressful Top Cut to watch, because, like, you know, without knowing what's left in decks, you're like, all right, how do you get around this Control list?
I mean, this is already game 2. Like, it's just...
Oh, I meant what's left in their list, right?
Oh, yeah, also that. I mean, like, I just don't see how they're gonna secure the bag. With all the kitty cats gone?
Yep.
And I love the kitty cats, they're so cute.
And honestly, like, trade's not that bad, right? Trade is very fundamental.
Yeah, don't sleep on trade.
But, oh, there's the bosses. Okay. Maybe they get something off the prize cards?
Well, the other good thing is that now Iona will not give you any cards, so it's a way to get more stuff back in the deck. Well, that wasn't
they just didn't have the knockout.
There's
Alright, there's the penny, and that, I think that's game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah. I don't... Unless there's some sort of majestic super rod play or crushing hammer that doesn't exist and isn't in any of the lists, I think this might be it.
Yeah, and it's 20 cards to 20 cards. That's the real rough part, too.
Ooh. You know, this is where we landed last game. The 3-4 prize split.
Yep.
This is a little bit eerily familiar.
It's real bad, right? Because I don't know. I feel like I've said everything about this matchup right now that you can say. Like, it's like, all right, look, you've checkmated him. You know, that's
we haven't delved deep enough. You know, I disagree. I think we haven't delved deep enough. We've talked about the gameplay.
Do we want to talk about
discussed the psyche?
The psyche of a control player?
I mean,
what goes through the mind
much
of a
has been
person?
said about the psyche of a control player. Stick with the positives. Let's stick with the positives.
Okay.
The positives of being a control player is that you absolutely are determined. I've yet to meet a control player with less than flawless determination.
I mean, you know, we could also talk about the fact that, you know, as a control player, you get to run a lot of cool gold cards, right? Full art cards, all this other stuff that are relevant in some not so relevant, right? Like, you know, but cards that are very, very good all over the place, like that Pokegear, like that Lost Vacuum, things of the sort.
A lot of good art. A lot of good art for sure. Do you remember when people used to play the card Charon's Care?
Yep.
Remember when that used to be a card that people put in their Arceus lists?
Yeah.
Cookie Brand remembers.
Yeah, I remember. I have a full art one sitting on my desk somewhere.
Oh, I remember. Lost Vacuum, getting rid of the tower. Okay, the tower. Yeah. They don't want to jam out. Actually, they want the jam out. They just don't want to jam out.
Yeah. Because, you know, God forbid something... I think the idea is that God forbid something comes back, they want to be able to throw down the Bravery Charm. Right? And, like, you know, stop whatever's happening here.
Yeah,
just buy them an extra turn.
I mean, what else are you doing? You're just basically sitting there.
Yeah, you want to interact one way or another. I guess you grab... I guess it's Arven Iono, but, like, if you're trying to win through prizes... Oh, you just didn't attack.
We're just not doing that.
Oh, I guess it's the stop, maybe stop like a gust or like a counter catcher or something. Or maybe you're just trying to say, hey, look, I can do this if I really want to, but I'm choosing not to attack.
Yeah, when you're in a situation like this, like, there's nothing you could really draw out of your deck to win. I mean, what is... You're just holding on, but for what purpose? For a super rod?
I mean,
for a hero?
Right? Like, what do you... I guess the... I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't attack here. I don't know what you're holding out for.
I mean, the counter catcher statement was correct. I think that's a real concern. Is you don't want to overplay beyond what you absolutely have to, and you already know that the game is like secured.
Right.
But there's just nothing to do.
Yeah, and I think for both players, you just have to sit and you have to wait. I need to ask.
It's a major test of strength.
Yeah, I have to ask a major control expert why you probably don't take the prizes here. I mean, there is only one psychic in list, right?
That sounds wrong.
Well,
that sounds like very wrong. Let me look.
I think the other psychics were prized.
Wait, no, but they did the Sui and Heavy Ball. I didn't see it in there.
Oh, maybe they weren't. I don't know then. Oh, let's see if they find another psychic, right? Then they can do it. There's 6 cards left in deck, or sorry, 6 cards left that they saw. My apologies. Oh no, they're in discard.
Oh, there they are. There they are. Okay, Silene, wherever Silene is. She's around.
She's probably hanging out. She's ready to come up and hang out. Please don't Iono here.
Not like this. Not like this.
I don't think it needs to happen.
No. Energy Lotto.
Oh, Radiant Charizard is an option.
Yeah? It's, you know, that's another reason not to take the prizes off the Mimikyu.
Yep, I completely forgot that Radiant Charizard was being played in that list.
My goodness, that is, okay. Xerosic?
Yeah, Xerosic here might be good.
Discard 7, that's good stuff.
Misfortune Sisters. Maybe you play Misfortune Sisters here to try to mill out a little bit faster. But you have 9 cards left in deck. Right? Like, as much as you've checkmated your opponent, you don't want to have to Iono here. There's the Bouffalon. Do not put the Bouffalon on the bench.
Okay, Celine's there, Night Stretcher. A lot of good stuff.
Stretcher. That's what they're looking for.
A lot of good stuff.
So maybe I think you Misfortune Sisters here, trying to, like...
Misfortune Sisters can get a maximum of 5, whereas Xerosic gets a maximum of 7.
I don't think playing the Pidgeot here is good. I don't think you play the Pidgeot until you absolutely need it.
I think you do it so you can put them back in the deck, though. Like, that's just so you can shuffle all those cards back in.
Right. I guess what I mean to say is that, oh, maybe if they're looking for a little bit more. That's not bad.
Okay.
Sure.
They didn't discard the item?
I think that was a misclick.
What? They passed leaving the bird? Someone
birds. So, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if they're just leaving the bird out there, right?
The bird is just there. Is this to get him to like overextend and like pull out the prime catcher and like this has got to be a style play?
No. I think this is just a straight up misplay.
No, this is bait. This is bait. We can't. They're in top cut. They're very intelligent players. There's clearly a plan.
Yeah, but they've been playing for like
This is
6
bait.
hours, right?
This is bait. They're scheming.
Oh, maybe it's just a flex. Could it be a flex?
No, there's no way they'd be wasting a turn to flex.
I'd do it. Like,
That's disgusting. You could have just retreated. Oh,
Yup, yeah, it's
burning
a
the
flex.
penny. That's a flex.
it is definitely a flex.
No, not again. No.
It's saying, hey, look
No,
what I
that's
just
cruel. That's cruel. There are children here, man.
did. I do not, we do not condone this type of action of flexing
Going
this hard.
for
You
the
took that here-
jugular.
No, they're tired. They're tired. You know how I know? Because
Okay, how do you know?
they played an energy and they just tried to grab and play their second energy. It was not a flex.
No, but it's gold. It's shiny. It's different.
Yeah, you gotta
You have to
collect
touch
shiny
the gold
things.
card. You click the shiny card.
Look, I am a judge, but I've heard in
Well-
some places people play with rules that allow them to, play their shiny cards on top of their normal cards.
I just want to note that Radiant Charizard is now able to attack.
Correct.
Are we gonna see it? Are we gonna see them win game 2?
And then we would have to watch a game 3 of this.
You say have to, like this isn't interesting.
I mean, it is interesting.
No, you don't think it's interesting.
I don't. I don't.
That's your fault. That's your fault, and you
I
should
love
be.
control. But
should be
no, do
re-educated.
not. Oh my gosh.
Woo! You know what? I'm now on the side of this game going forever. You have nothing else to do because nothing else will matter as much as this one game of control.
I'll be
Ghost
real
Eye.
honest.
Wait, the Pidgeot could be Galaxy Brain! Because if you put a double colorless on it and
Yeah,
you
it
knock out
could.
the Radiant Charizard, that could be Galaxy Brain!
Because you can't get it back. Yeah.
Galaxy Brain! And that's what the Iono's for! Wait, we have this. I don't know where you
it
get the
is yours.
DTE from.
You're cooking. I hope you're making enough for everyone.
Look, the menu is for sharing. I'll tell you this though. I don't like that the switch was used to retreat the Regidrago. I feel like the lightning should have just been discarded.
Yep.
I
think
get
so
why
too.
that didn't happen. I get why it didn't happen. Why are you attaching the DTE there?
There's no reason to. You should have just.
I need information. What are you thinking?
Here's the boss's orders coming to bring up like something that is irrelevant, like the Arceus
The
V-Star.
Arceus V-Star.
My gosh.
Talking like this isn't interesting. I feel like the amount of time we waited for something to happen has made this unbelievably exciting for me. I'm just like, what are they gonna do? They've been doing nothing. They've been planning this for ages. It's gotta be some sort of massive Giga Brain play! And then it's just like a normal play. But it doesn't matter because it feels like a massive Giga Brain play!
Well, yeah, because because everything's Giga Brain when nothing else is happening, right? So like, oh, double
yeah.
tails. All right, cool. You know what?
Rip.
Rest in peace.
Girl boss moment. Girl failure moment. Nest ball, what are you searching for there?
Is there another mimic? No, there's a Bouffalon in the list. So maybe.
What are you gonna do with another one?
They could Bouffalon. No, Bouffalon's in hand. Nothing else is in lists.
You putting that there for?
You sure you want to do that? Oh, maybe it's the shuffle. I don't know, man. I don't know anymore.
I just don't know.
So you get the knockout here on the Mimikyu,
And then you go down to one prize.
and then they play the Bouffalon, and you win? Wait,
What
you're
is it?
retreating?
What are you
Why are you retreating?
for? Help! No!
What is happening?
Misclick. That had to be misclick.
No way, because that doesn't
This
pierce.
isn't- What are you doing?
Oh, never mind.
What
never
are
mind.
you doing?
This doesn't KO it. This doesn't KO it. Oh no, it does KO it.
No, it KOs.
Oh, never mind.
But, like-
never mind.
Because weakness.
We didn't see it.
What?
It was a missed input.
Okay, it was a misclick.
Yeah.
Because that you had to take the KO on the Charizard there. Like that was just like even if you had another fire energy in hand,
Yeah.
you were just gonna get gusted.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay,
In
we're
the
on to
words-
game 3.
In the words of the finest literary experts on internet platforms, America, explain! What do you mean, Arkansas? If you haven't seen that Vine, that's gonna make no sense, but I don't care.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my goodness. We've been
our
through
chat
a
might
roller
not.
coaster? What is even
I
happening
feel like
anymore?
I've been reborn as a person from seeing that. The rest of Top Cut is just I think they're just waiting.
Yeah, they're like on like finals or something like that. Let's see.
Who
Yeah,
does-
they are literally on
Ancient
finals.
Box. Ancient Box. Yeah.
There's too
This is
much,
just
too
incredible.
many, two more games.
We're witnessing greatness. This is greatness. The fact that this is not finals right now is wrong.
So, speaking of which, this reminds me of another day when I was playing, sorry, 1 second. I'm reading chat. CJ Crabtree says in chat, "Hi, I've been getting into Pokemon TCG and this channel's videos have been super helpful. Is there a deck you would recommend for a newer player to pick up to start playing in local events?"
Ooh, this is a good question. Do you want to lead?
I'll defer to you.
I get to be the expert.
Look,
Finally, I've been acknowledged.
Look, as I am someone that makes content specifically for newer players on my Pokemon YouTube channel, but I will defer straight to you.
Well, if you're going to be so modest. CJ Crabtree, thank you for coming into the chat. The short answer to your question is that the best deck to play is the one that you think is the most fun.
Correct.
But the long answer is looking at what we have in our format right now. You could play a deck that people tell you is really good and plays well in the metagame, and that would be decks like Regidrago, Charizard Pidgeot, Raging Bolt Ogerpon. But if you were with me right now and I were taking you directly to my locals and you were going to teach me your favorite deck and how you play, from my collection of decks that I have available, I'd probably recommend Raging Bolt Ogerpon. It's a really good fundamentals deck that teaches you about sequencing, and it's not super complicated because the moving parts are mostly the SADA supporter, but it's a really powerful deck. So I think that's similar to the first couple of decks that I used to play, and that's what I would recommend starting out with. But you could try anything and have just as good a time. I mean, if you wanted to play Charizard Pidgeot as your main deck, I think you'd have a good time.
Honestly, I agree. I think the most important thing when you start Pokemon... Oh, it looks like we have a disconnect here. Give us 1 second as we bring this... Why don't we go back to the casting booth while we...
Yeah,
while we wait
let's
for
go talk to
everything
CJ Crabtree.
Alrighty, we will be right back, folks. Hey everybody, welcome back as we get ready for Top Cut to finish. It looks like our match has dropped out as we're waiting for like everybody to kind of get stuff together. But let's talk more and more about the question at hand, which is what would be your first deck as a Pokemon TCG fan, as someone that wanted to play at your local store? The answer is find something that really speaks to you, right? Like, are you a person that likes to play more aggressively, more passively, or you think something looks really cool? Your first deck that you bring doesn't have to be a good deck. I'll be real honest. I've seen people bring something off the wall that utterly does fantastic at our, at our local events. So, play whatever speaks to you. If you're a person, someone came to me and they said, I want to play an aggressive deck. If I was saying you want to learn how to play an aggressive deck in Pokemon TCG, I'd recommend them Ancient Box.
Ooh, that's definitely an aggressive deck.
So there's two reasons that I recommend Ancient Box. Ancient Box is very straightforward in how you play, and it has two strategies, right? It's making sure that your Roaring Moons can attack, and it's getting ancient Pokemon into your discard, right? So you can get lines that make it better, and you can constantly improve. But like Raging Bolt stumbling over my words here. Like Raging Bolt Ogerpon, everything's kind of straightforward. You kind of know what you're doing, what your attackers are, what your game plan is, and it doesn't punish you as much for overextending. So I think that's about it while we wait for the next round to go up.
Yeah, I think as long as you have 60 cards in your deck, you'll have a good time no matter where you are. Most locals are super good about bringing you deeper into the game without being rude. Like, for example, I was at a league challenge, and it was this dad and his young son with cards from Sun and Moon. And like this, we are in the 9th generation expansion. They brought 7th generation cards. They're not legal for standard. Everyone kind of looked at each other and said, we're going to let them have this because they're fantastic people.
Right.
So at the end of the day, they walked out with a lot more knowledge, and I think they picked up some of the league battle decks so that next time they could actually play like regulation format cards. But it really does not matter what you come with, as long as you come with a heart willing to learn.
What does meta look like for this event? And what was into 16? Let's let us pull up that limitless list again, looking at what we are currently waiting on as this game kind of gets up and running. Moving into the limitless standings, where I have fixed the audio, so let us transfer over there right now. Currently, I was looking at this other list that seemed to be this Turbo Roaring Moon that was originally coming into it, but unfortunately, I believe since the last time I checked, they have been knocked out.
No!
I know, right? Turbo Roaring Moon, my beloved, you will be missed.
Rip.
So, looking at our top 8 coming in, it looks like we had stuff. My gosh, we had a Snorlax Stall. We had. Sorry, I'm literally pulling it up as we go. Snorlax Stall versus Snorlax Stall in the first bracket. After that, we had our Turbo Roaring Moon going forward. Along with that, we had Lost Box Charizard. There's so many things going forward that, like, this meta is kind of diverse. Right? We see a little bit of the same, little bit of different, right? We saw Raging Bolt Ogerpon, we saw Dragapult, Charizard Pidgeot, and now we see these really funky decks that are being played right now. Do you have a favorite?
I like the Arceus one. I think it's funny.
Yeah, I think the Arceus one's probably the best.
I mean, you can show up with a Regidrago in the year 2024. Come on.
Yeah,
that's style play.
People are just kind of like, what is going on? It looks like our match maybe our match came back? I'm not quite sure if they are back just yet. I'm keeping an eye on other stuff as well. Did you expect Gardevoir to get as far as it did?
No. I mean, Gardevoir's a really good deck, and it has a ton of options. But I thought that the player playing it, Koiwashi, was actually going to ID themselves out of Top Cut. I thought they weren't going to make Top Cut.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen their list. Their list is actually playing Calamitous Wasteland as well. I was not expecting
Calamitous Wasteland?
Yeah.
You mean the one that does extra damage? Oh, that's... Wait, no, it's
Calamitous Wasteland's the one that makes
I'm thinking
it
the
so
snowy
basic
one.
Fighters can't retreat. Or basic cards that aren't fighting can't retreat.
Is that Galaxy Brained?
I believe so.
Because in the mirror? No, that affects you too. That affects you too.
Yeah, it affects you as well.
I'm foolish.
I'm going to transfer us over to Be Right Back real quick while I figure out what is going on with this match so that we can watch something ASAP, guys. Hold on tight. We'll get a game to you soon. If not, we'll get some analysis. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are back to another round of the Mimikyu Buffalant control list versus Arceus V. It is not looking great right now. Would you like to take the horn here and
toot toot.
Tell us a little bit about why this is looking so bad as I fix our screen?
There's a triple Mimikyu problem. There's Mimikyu and Mimikyu all on the bench. And there's only one card, actually technically one line with two cards in it in NRT City's deck capable of hitting through Mimikyu, and that is the Purloin and the Lipard, both of which do not do one-hit KO damage. It is, quite frankly, astonishing that they're in Game 3. But now that they're here, if this game doesn't go perfectly for NRT City, Mimikyu will make it all the way. All the way.
Which is kind of crazy. So let's, like, looking at what they are going to be playing upcoming forward, looking at, it is the Gardevoir player that's next. So they will be playing into Gardevoir if this happens.
Yeah, that Gardevoir player is not a stranger to top cuts at Limitless events. This, in particular, player was on last week's late night event, top cut as well.
And honestly, I think they have a really good matchup into this control list.
Yeah, I mean, being Gardevoir means that you have basics that aren't Robloxes, and that's all you really need. Because this Mimikyu wall is just advancing. There's menacing music, like as the Mimikyus approach. Like, I'm picturing trumpets, I'm picturing banners, I'm picturing Arceus in the corner cowering in fear. Regidrago with a last-ditch effort to try to save the day. Doesn't work. Mimikyu takes it again. That's what I'm expecting to have happen. Maybe I'll be proven wrong.
This is just such an insane matchup. Like, there's so many words I could say about it, but nothing will do it justice.
You have words?
Yeah,
Can I have
just
some?
it's.
I'm out of words. Give me your words.
Yeah, here you can borrow half. That's all I can spare.
Whew.
I just don't feel like that. No matter what we do here, right? It's always kind of like a feels bad, right? Does the control get enough momentum to really push away this Arceus deck, or is the Arceus deck going to be able to rebuild, get their attacker, right? Their only one prize attacker that isn't the Purloin and the Lipard is that Radiant Charizard, but as we saw last game, that's more than enough. I don't know, part of me is like, you got to get that penny out ASAP. You got to make sure that you get that Rotom V off the bench, unless you're drawing with it every turn.
That was the other thing, is that all of last game that wasn't happening. And I was just sitting here going, are you gonna pick that up? You can pick that up? Like the sock sitting in the corner of my bedroom that I need to pick up. Like, it's just there on the bench. Get rid of it. But it turns out there's Galaxy Brain Plays happening. That's my word of the day, I think. Galaxy Brain Plays.
Well, I mean,
it's a single word. It's all one word.
Does your sock also make Galaxy Brain Plays as well?
No.
Okay.
I wish. It just sits in the corner, needed to go in the laundry box.
Hey,
Sad.
Look at that. There's that Prime Catcher coming up. We're gonna get that Regidrago VMAX coming in for the attack, I believe getting the knockout on us, right?
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna knock out. It's 220.
Oh no, 2.
This is everything you need to do. This is everything you need to do.
Yeah, just make it so that they can't play the game. That's all you gotta do.
Unfortunately, they drew the 2 energy they need to play the game.
Yeah, but like slowly but surely, right?
Yeah, and that Pokegear, if it can grab a boss, it's rough.
This is so insane. I was not expecting to have this be the matchup that, like, you know, everybody's so excited to see at the end of the day.
That Hero's Cape is putting in work with an E. It's work.
My gosh.
Catch a Psychic. Drop a Artisan. Is this a deck spin? No, this is deck search.
Or maybe, well, in my brain, I go, okay, I'm going to check it because I want to see what's left in my deck, right?
Oh, it's to shuffle the Iono.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's so smart.
Yeah, no reason not to put those damage counters there.
Absolutely. Just get that on there. Just get that on there. Regidrago having free retreat is fantastic for this matchup. Very
Honestly,
good.
It's almost better than a Pecharunt or a Pecharunt. Almost better. Nothing is as good as our, you know, free retreat Poison Boy.
I can't believe that they made a Pechaberry Pokemon. Like, that's just like someone sat down and like thought of it.
Yeah, like
I wonder what it was like in the room.
Yeah, they just decided that that's what they were going to do.
Like in the studio, they're just like drawing with, I don't know, like a pen that's on fire, and then out comes Pecharunt, like Pecharunt, Pecharunt, Pikarunt, Pikachu, Mimikyu.
Yeah, Mimikyu. There you go. We tied it back all together. We did it.
Time is a flat circle.
Yeah.
With a second smaller circle in the center that when you press it, makes a Pokeball.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be like the YouTube short where you say, "Let me connect these two circles," and you fold the paper over. Oh, here we go. Jamming Tower plus Judge. Sorry, I just dropped some lore, and then immediately moved on.
I'm waiting for the lore, man. Judging Tower.
Yep.
Is that anything? To the
It's
peds?
the newest format that's coming
Kitty cat.
out. Yeah, we get the Liepard coming down. Look, Liepard's the only thing that can attack here. Might as well have both trades going down.
Yeah, and that means less Judge problems.
100%.
The Hero's Cape is just so in the way. I mean, like, I know we have the stadium, but like, it's rough. It's
Right,
rough.
especially because, like, maybe, just maybe, our Mimikyu player will be able to get out of it, but who knows?
I mean, you could Night Stretcher, grab the Rotom, drop the Sealstone, search for a stadium.
But then you have to get it out of the active too. Maybe it's just worth getting rid of the Mimikyu.
Or you could just do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Switch
really easy too.
Oh no, wait! Why would you do that? Because you don't have any energy on it.
Oh, maybe they just found that out now.
Oh no!
There's no energy in the discard either. You can't even Night Stretcher. Look, whatever.
Well, I can. Maybe this is a good idea because now you have the energy in hand. But you can't do the V-Star Stone play now, so that's rough. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw our control player talking earlier. They got to go to school tomorrow, so one way or another, this needs to end.
I'll tell you what, they say that you go to school tomorrow. We're getting educated right now.
Yeah, that's true. We are getting educated on a master class at control, and Regidrago VMAX.
These are card interactions most of us have not thought about. Just not thought about ever. Just not thought about.
Right.
This is the power of the TCG. Technically, this phenomenon is called emergent action gameplay when you design a game but can't think of every possible interaction with it.
Right.
So that's one of the things that keeps TCGs fresh no matter what you're playing, no matter what format, no matter what year. Even the designers don't know what you're doing.
Oh man,
so
this
you could be
is
comforted.
So bad for our Mimikyu player. I think our Mimikyu player is considering dropping the loss there.
No, it's the third game. Can't give up now.
I know
heart
that
of the
we're watching. We are the
cards.
point of view of the Mimikyu player, but I am rooting for this Arceus player because this Arceus player is trying their best.
I agree. I mean, seeing them get walled like twice, I'm just like, I respect the hustle.
Right, of course. I am not okay with the Mimikyu taking the knockout here, though. It breaks my heart. But also,
no,
at
I mean, like the
same
Mimikyu has to.
Oh yeah, of course.
And the problem is that now it's going to get return KO'd because Jamming Tower and the bench Liepard without the restriction.
Right.
So the switch card eventually just did nothing for you.
Hey, there's an
So that
area.
play. Okay. What can we get out of that? Maybe discard a switch? Maybe discard something else?
I don't know what else you could do to get out of it. You would have to draw something like fantastic.
Why are you putting them on the Charizard?
It's for the retreat on the Charizard. It's so that they can discard to retreat on the Charizard and not have to worry about it. That it could still attack.
But what if you need that for the Arceus?
That's true.
It's just
that's
what
true.
if you kept it in your hand? Look, I'm a little hater, all right? We've
That's
established
okay.
that. I'm a hater. It's not okay. I'm biased. I'm nitpicking and biased.
Honestly, I mean, this stuff happens,
Judge.
right? I think that they both played very long games.
Judge.
And, yeah, Judge?
Judge. Oh wait, that's you. I forgot you're the judge.
All right, getting the knockout here, that's huge. Getting the Hero's Cape off the board is probably the strongest thing you could do here.
Particularly with all the ways that Silene has flipped tails and no other combination. That's pretty big.
Yeah, there's the
Counter
catcher.
catcher,
I think this is the thing
catcher.
that they were worried about. So I think before you do anything, you poke a gear, right? Like, there's the Arvin.
Yeah.
Getting probably getting like, yeah, Nest Ball and Bravery Charm seems really good here, but Bravery Charm doesn't do anything just yet. Maybe it should have been a Lost Vacuum? I don't know.
Ooh, okay, so you counter catcher, you retreat, and you trap maybe the Regidrago.
Yeah, I think you have to, right?
Think you gotta.
But the oh right, the Regidrago has nothing on it right now. Hope that there's no switch card. But I don't
Does
think
its first attack auto switch it out? I don't think it does.
I believe it does.
It does?
Let me read it. We have
Right,
look, we have the power of the
need the
internet
knowledge
right in front of us. Regidrago V.
Don't keep me in
Switch this
suspense.
Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Yeah, it gets it out of there.
Oh, which is why you should have held the double turbo.
Well, it's one. I think it's one electric to attack with it. It is one electric to attack with it.
Oh, it's Jover.
Well, there's the switch. Yeah, they're hovering the loss. They're ready to call it the loss.
Rip. Rest in
And just
pepperoni.
like that, we have our top 4 ready to go.
That was a come from behind.
Let's switch to the be right back, and we'll chat, and then we'll move on to the next round. So we will.
I can't believe
right
I witnessed
back.
that.
I know. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Late Night 203. Unfortunately, after watching that really interesting, I will say interesting, Regidrago v. Sorry, not Regidrago, Regieleki.
Regieleki,
VMAX. I'm
the
not
other one.
used to saying that.
Yeah, it's
right?
just it's
Oh
unfamiliar.
my gosh. The Regieleki V versus the Buffalant control list. We currently do not have any streams coming up before our last final rounds. And so let's talk a little bit about what we saw today, what is being played in the finals, and then we'll close up. So,
Okay. What we saw today was absolute chaos.
100%.
We've left the meta and we've gone somewhere else.
I
don't know where it
got
is,
to the
though.
place where the Lipards just roam, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
insane. The matchups that we are not able to see, though, is currently the Arceus V-Star list that we saw playing the Regieleki versus Gardevoir. How do you think that's going to go?
It's not just any Gardevoir.
Yeah, sorry.
It's the Gardevoir.
It is the Gardevoir list.
She is the moment.
Yep.
All right, let's talk for a bit about the Arc deck because we've got
Yeah,
a
of
question in
course.
chat from Griffin. What's going on there? Why is Regieleki our attacker? And
So, let's pull that list up live, right? So,
yeah,
looking at it right now, so their list seems to be based around the fact that for folks that don't know, Arceus V-Star is all about getting that one color of energy plus double colorless attachment, or 3 energy to attack is the main big deal. So by using Regieleki VMAX as well as a bunch of these other attackers, the idea is that you kind of have an attacker with free retreat, right? You get to bring it out of the active, deals 220, but it also has 310 HP, which is relevant because nothing in the format with minus turbo, I'm blanking here.
Take your time.
Besides any of the turbo lists can really knock it out. Apologies. With one-hit knockouts or any effects. So the idea is that by keeping that in the active, doing 220, you kind of rotate it around, you bring other stuff out. Arceus V-Star has never been the deck that one-shots anything. It's always been the deck that two-shots. So when you have something that two-shots, you want to have something that can take a hit back, and Regilucky VMAX is very good at that.
And that basic has a good attack as well. Lightning Wall does 100 and then blocks 100 damage onto you. And with 200 HP, that gives you a 300 HP big guy for pretty low cost.
And honestly, I think overall, it was like kind of cool to see play, right? Like you get to do all these weird decks with Arceus that you never thought you'd see play. Like before anything else really came out, we did see, before Regidrago V-Star was really a deck, I did end up trying to play Regidrago V-Star with Arceus V-Star. I played, Arcdrago, and it was not good. I had a blast with it, but it was not good at all. So, you kind of just do whatever you can with it.
Mm-hmm. But okay. That's what it's doing. Will it win against Gardevoir? Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think it will.
I think Gardevoir's favored because of the two prize thing,
mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't put it past because if you had sat me down at the beginning of this tournament and said, here is the deck that will make top 4 and showed me this Regilucky list, I would have been like, what are you talking about? There's no way. So the fact that they've gotten this far with this deck,
mm-hmm.
there's strategies we don't even have the ability to comprehend going on back there.
I think they could do it. That I think really lends it to the Arceus list is using the Jamming Tower, right? So Jamming Tower has been that thing that has been the doom and gloom, all coming from, Gardevoir lists, right? People were worried that Jamming Tower would be seen so often that you would never get to see stuff like Hero's Cape, Bravery Charm, things like that, onto the Scream Tail, onto all these other things, right? Because one of the big robust parts of the Gardevoir list and playing Gardevoir overall is the access to tools you have and all the cool little tips and tricks you get to do, right? Using Screamtail with Hero's Cape to knock stuff out, even though it's not played anymore and they're playing on Fair Stamp, you kind of lose out for not being able to evolve, not being able to de-evolve, right? A lot of the crazy little things you have from Gardevoir just go missing. The other thing is that they're big bodies, right? And there's there's a lot of switching in this Regilucky VMAX list. I really just don't know.
I think Gardevoir can do it. I think Regilucky is going to surprise us. Oh, and we already know that the finals player on the other side of the bracket for finals is an Ancient Box deck. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, Ancient Box has been this thing that has been seen all over the place, right? It is one of the more favored lists going to Baltimore, right? Baltimore, I think people are saying, if you're not playing Regidrago V-Star, you are playing Charizard or you're playing Ancient Box. That's just kind of the big three that I've seen. But, this Ancient Box list playing those Great Tusks really threw me off. Right? Just seeing it going to the Regidrago V-Star list, being able to mill it out and getting that, panicking your opponent. It's also real good into control too. If control becomes, if you're in that control matchup, having those Great Tusks, being able to, mill things out is huge.
Mm-hmm. We're getting a lot of power off of that Great Tusk in a format where one of your major decks automatically discards 7 just for fun as an ability. That's just a good way to use what the meta has given you to your advantage.
Well, just as a treat, right?
As a treat.
One and done.
It's not average Tusk. It's Great Tusk.
Yeah. It's not. They don't call it Great Tusk for nothing. I'm trying to see what else is there any big, weird things that are in the list. It looks like the Gardevoir list is playing Calamitous Wasteland, right? That stadium that gives the retreat cost of basic non-fighting Pokemon 1 extra, which is cool, right? Because you get the trap stuff in there. It's also a way to knock to remove the jamming towers that we've seen that have been issues. You know, there's just a lot to be done here, and also, you know, gives an extra way to discard extra energy off the Gardevoir. A lot of people, if you don't play Gardevoir enough, you don't know, but your biggest enemy is yourself by putting out too many psychic energy and not being able to put them into the discard.
Correct. It is so rough if you don't have enough energy in there to do what you need to do. You have to start looking at your retreat numbers. Do you need to move something out? With Cresselia not seeing as much play as it used to, that's pretty good because you're no longer stuck with these scenarios where there's just energy across the entire board that you can't get rid of.
Right.
But you still have to pay attention. The management in Gardevoir is insane. And Koiwashi has been in this top cut, not just today, but in previous tournaments, so many times that I trust that they know what they're doing.
Right, and especially because you get all this skill expression from this list too, right? Like, we talk about one of the better standards is when you get cool decks, diverse decks, and skill expression, right? You don't just have rock, paper, scissors matchups. You have, you know, rock, paper, lizard, Vulcan, Spock type matchups, right? Where you get to, like, you know, you get to mastermind, big brain your way around stuff. And, you know, Gardevoir contributed to that for a long time. And in not having Gardevoir as a key player right now is making a lot of folks sad, especially because of how much a lot of people enjoyed the list.
And with the new format changes to IRL tournaments, Gardevoir is on the ropes. It is a fantastic deck. The skill expression hasn't gone down. In fact, it's gotten a lot of cool pieces, but it ties.
Yep.
And when you tie a matchup in an IRL tournament now, it's not as good as it used to be. It is now closer to a loss than it is to a sort of almost tie. There's just not going to be a lot of tying anymore.
Right, and remember, one of the biggest things when you go to these bigger events, I encourage that a lot of people, they're like, well, you know, they'll be like, James, what's your opinion on playing this deck at regionals or whatever? Because everybody's getting ready for Baltimore, right? So they're like, hey, how do you feel about playing? So a good example is a buddy of mine came up and they were like, I'm thinking about playing Thorns in Quad Thorns at regionals. And I'm like, well, I don't hate the Quad Thorns play. I think you would be a fantastic Quad Thorns pilot. But the problem isn't you playing Quad Thorns. It's your opponent playing against Quad Thorns and not knowing what to do and sitting there and wasting time. You could do optimal plays. You could do all this stuff. PJ, who is a regular, you know, who is the owner of the Shuffle Squad, and I used to talk about his control play-ups all the time. When he played control, his biggest problem was that his opponent would not know what to do. So if you are playing a deck that runs slower, or a deck that, you know, makes your opponents have to figure out what to do, you have to call time on them. You have to be like, hey, my opponent is slow playing, not on purpose, but, you know, I am here to win. Because if you get into that tie bracket, you are playing against the same decks that go to time every single time, and you'll be stuck there, and you're more likely to get more ties than not get ties. So
You gotta play clever to make control work.
Yeah.
You gotta be smart. Dare I say, galaxy brain?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
the
I'm
word
having
of the
too much
day.
fun.
I feel like we should be, you know, the alarm should go off. Word of the day, galaxy brain has been said. But with that, guys, I think we are getting a little bit goofy because we are tired from casting this stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you guys hang out in the next couple hours, we will have the NA with some fantastic casters being casted here, probably in around 2 or 3 hours. So keep an eye out on the Shuffle Squad channel. Drop a sub, let people know that you absolutely love this type of content, and we will see you guys soon, as next week we'll have another EU, and later tonight we'll have NA late night 204. I'll see you guys soon. Have a fantastic night. Any last words?
No.
Okay.
Oh, there was the last word. Oh!
Alrighty, folks. Have a fantastic night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.